Chapter 67. Ha ha! I've finally opened the 12th floor. Su Yin laughed heartily as he looked at the ancient bronze door. The moment it was pushed open, it emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if a divine door was slowly being pushed open. Su Yin clenched the black ore in his fist. He felt the importance of the black ore. The inheritance hidden in this thing could definitely be used for a lifetime. I don't know what's on the 12th floor. Su Yin, am coming. Su Yan's legs suddenly bent. The moment he soared into the air, the ground beneath his feet collapsed. He was like a golden-winged rock as he leaped into the air. His aura soared to the heavens as he jumped into the bronze door. 12th floor. Oh my God. Su Yin has reached the 12th floor. Su Yin actually succeeded? How long has it been? The news sent by the steward caused Xia Zhe to fall silent. Su Yin had only used 3 months to reach the 12th level. Xia Zhe's feelings were complicated. He was also looking forward to seeing what kind of shock Su Yin would bring him in the future. 12th floor. After receiving Xia Zhe's message, Yuan clenched his fist tightly. This was where he had failed, but now his student had succeeded and reached the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials. Yuan's rough face was filled with a proud smile. What kind of inheritance is on the 12th floor? Yuan frowned and said, when I reached the 11th floor, my memory was erased. But what will Su Yin encounter on the 12th floor? I hope he won't encounter any danger. Yuan knew that ancient ruins were not filled with opportunities on the surface. There were many unknown dangers, especially this Tower of Trials. It hid such a powerful inheritance. Perhaps there really were unknown dangers. He wanted to know, and so did Xia Zhe. After all, he was the one who brought the Tower of Trials here. It was an inheritance tower that he had dug out from an ancient ruin. He had moved it to Huaxia University about 10 years ago. Xia Zhe had always guessed that the Tower of Trials was a very shocking treasure. As long as he could complete the trial, he might have the qualifications to control the Tower of Trials. Let's hope that Su Yin can succeed. Right now, the Huaxia Alliance is lacking in absolute treasures. This Tower of Trials must be extremely powerful. It will definitely surpass the Heaven Stabilizer Bell. Xia Zhe took a deep breath. Back then, he had paid a heavy price to obtain the Heaven Stabilizer Bell. The Tower of Trials was a treasure that surpassed the Heaven Stabilizer Bell. If Su Yin could obtain it, it would be a great opportunity for him. To the Huaxia Alliance, it would mean a lot. There were only 3 people in the entire Huaxia University who knew about this, other than the manager, the dean, and the martial god. The scene of the 12th level far exceeded Su Yan's expectations. As soon as he stepped through the bronze door, it was as if he had arrived at a hell gate. What came head-on was a destructive aura that penetrated deep into the bone marrow. It was as if an immortal saber had slashed down, making Su Yin feel a great fear that made his soul fly away. What's going on? Su Yan's face was solemn. The entire bronze hall was in ruins. There were broken walls everywhere. This place did not look like a place of inheritance. Instead, it looked like an abandoned place. Su Yin took a deep breath. He carefully followed the waves that penetrated deep into the bronze hall and began to move forward. Gradually, when Su Yin was about to reach his destination, he was stunned. He saw a scene that overturned his thoughts. It was a bloody spear. It was extremely terrifying. It was rippling with an endless source of destruction. The power that the spear emitted was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. However, this bloody spear that was powerful enough to destroy the heavens was impaled on a woman. Illusion? Is this an illusion? Su Yan's hands and feet were cold. He had goosebumps all over his body. This was a graceful and elegant woman. Her beauty was unparalleled. Her skin was whiter than snow. Her bones were like jade. Her black hair fell to her waist. She was beautiful and holy. She wore a silver robe. She was otherworldly. She was like a fairy who rode the wind and left. From the opening of the core inheritance, the first guardian that Su Yin saw was her. But now, she had appeared on the 12th level. The current her was even more beautiful and holy than before. She was noble and elegant. She was like the world's most beautiful silver moon. She was so beautiful that the world lost its luster. Only her beauty was peerless. However, this blood spear was impaled on her shoulder. It had pierced through her back. Her smooth and exquisite collarbone had cracked. The blood spear had actually impaled her on the wall. All of this made Su Yin feel disbelief. He had tried his best to open the 12th level, but this was the scene he saw. Surprised? Her face was pale without a trace of blood, and her breathing was very weak. Her misty eyes were so weak that she almost couldn't open them, but there was a smile on her face, and 2 cute little dimples appeared on her cheeks. At this moment, she did not look like a fairy standing far away. Instead, she looked like a lovable woman. Who are you?" Su Yin quickly walked over and cried out, "Are you the expert that created the Tower of Trials? But there is someone down there who looks exactly like you. How could she be unharmed? Also, how did you get injured?" Su Yin asked a series of questions. He was too shocked. It had completely overturned his thinking. He originally thought that he could obtain a powerful inheritance from the Tower of Trials, but he never thought that the ending would be like this. "First, I'm sorry that I lied to you. The one that controlled the Tower of Trials was a wisp of my soul. The entire Tower of Trials was controlled by me. I only wanted to find someone who could open the bronze door. But my talent in array Dao is not high, so I could only find a needle in a haystack. I wanted to find an expert with extraordinary talent in array Dao." Her voice was very weak. The blood spear had pierced through her shoulder. A lot of blood had flowed out, and it had even coagulated. "Don't speak." Su Yin had already rushed over. His eyes were locked onto the blood spear that had pierced through her shoulder. The blood spear was very terrifying. It constantly vibrated with a destructive power that wanted to destroy her life. If the blood spear could not be pulled out, the silver-robed woman would not be able to hold on for long. "Don't come over." She shook her head, and her limpid eyes looked at the concerned youth. She bitterly smiled and said, "I originally thought that a powerhouse could come here and smoothly open the bronze door to help me. But I really didn't think that you could come in and even open the bronze door. It's just that your cultivation is too weak. You should leave. This blood spear isn't something you can shake." She thought that the inheritance would attract experts, but she was wrong. There were no experts on Earth. Earth was just a planet that had just recovered its heaven and earth essence chi a few decades ago. So she could only choose to open the bronze door with array Dao. But 10 years had passed, and she was about to lose hope. The living beings in this world did not know anything about the divine devil civilization. Not only did she have to choose a qualified expert, but she also had to choose a cultivator with a good heart. After all, in her situation, if she met someone with a bad heart, she would rather die silently. Although Su Yin was the first to come here, Su Yin was too weak to help her. "I want to give it a try." Su Yin stared at the silver-robed woman and said, "Although I don't know who you are, the inheritance should be left behind by you. As a token of my gratitude, I want to help you." She was silent for a while. She noticed Su Yan's serious look. She nodded and closed her eyes weakly. Su Yan was already in front of her. A fatal pressure assaulted her. The blood spear emitted an aura that was ferocious and ferocious. It wanted to shatter everything. Su Yan's palm slowly extended. When he was about to touch the blood spear, he felt an extremely terrifying power that almost shattered his soul. "I'm not afraid of you. You're just a weapon. Why would I be afraid of you?" Su Yan's eyes glared angrily. His palm suddenly grabbed the blood spear. At this moment, Su Yan's body trembled. The blood spear automatically seeped out wisps of aura, causing Su Yan's entire body to be on the verge of collapse. "Ah!" Su Yan screamed in pain. His entire body was about to be blown to pieces by the blood spear's power. How powerful was this weapon? It was already very difficult to get close to it, let alone lift it up. "Hurry up and leave," the silver-robed woman said pitifully and helplessly. She wanted to raise her hand to chase Su Yin away, but she did not have the strength to do so. "Don't worry about me. I can take it." Su Yin gritted his teeth. His face was filled with determination. "I don't believe that my spiritual can be destroyed by a weapon like you." Su Yan's eyes widened. His other hand was also holding the blood spear. At this moment, Su Yan's entire body felt like it had been struck by lightning and roasted by fire. Both of his arms were trembling. This was not a crushing force. Otherwise, Su Yin would not be able to withstand it for even a moment. Instead, it was a crushing force on the soul. This blood spear contained a spiritual will that could destroy the world. Su Yin felt as if the world had changed. It had turned into the color of blood. A giant monster was looking down on him, ready to tear him to pieces at any time. Su Yan's heart was filled with great fear. His entire body was trembling. This was despair. He saw that if he did not let go, he would be completely crushed. His body and soul would be destroyed. Teacher. In this moment of despair, Su Yin saw a person. He saw the martial god. He saw Yuan. He saw his spiritual will. This was a martial god who did not respect the heavens and the earth. He did not respect the gods and devils. He only fought for his tribe. I will not yield to anyone. I, Su Yin, am not a walking corpse. Su Yin let out waves of unyielding roars. His spirit was released from his forehead. It was like a golden lightning bolt that pierced through his forehead bone. Although the blood-red world was a boundless sea, Su Yan's spiritual will was still awakened. It was about to transform into a small golden person. This scene caused some hope to rise in the silver-robed woman's heart. She hesitated for a moment. Her bright red lips parted slightly. A world and a grain of sand, a Bodhi dam and a tree, a sky and a leaf, a world and a person. The Sanskrit chants were bitter and difficult to understand. She was less than 5 inches away from Su Yin. Her bright red lips parted slightly. Her eyes were fixed on the young man's resolute and courageous face. Her voice was soft and weak as she spoke. As Su Yin listened, he seemed to see a majestic sea rooted in an ancient tree that reached the heavens. It shook the sky and created the world. This was a very mysterious mystic art. It was transmitted to Su Yan's spirit. Day after day, he remained motionless. Month after month, he remained motionless. The silver-robed woman looked at the young man. After 3 months, she felt that her life had come to an end. However, when she thought that there was still a man who was willing to risk his life for her before she died, she felt gratified. A gentle smile appeared on her face. It was so beautiful that it made the world pale in comparison. I can't take it anymore. Consider this my gift. She reached out and wanted to touch the young man's face. However, she had no strength left. Wong. At this moment, Su Yan's forehead bone shone. Golden light flowed. The golden spirit inside seemed to have turned into a grain of sand. A grain of sand, but it was as bright as a small sun that was billions of times condensed. Golden light shot out in all directions. Sanskrit chants sounded. Buddhist light appeared. Su Yin seemed to have seen the future. It was chaos. He stood in the chaos and looked at the past and present. He saw the present. Sutra of the future. The 3 words made Su Yan's spirit become like a boundless Buddha. It crossed the sea and extracted the power and wisdom of the vast universe. It was the power to seize the future. It's my turn now. Su Yan's eyes suddenly widened. It was as if he had turned into a fighting Buddha. Golden lightning spewed out of his forehead bone. It turned into a small golden figure in the void. It was dazzling. Chapter 68. The silver-robed woman was pleasantly surprised. Su Yin had actually managed to cultivate the Sutra of the Future at this critical juncture. This sutra was extremely difficult to cultivate, but he had only used 3 months to comprehend some of its true meanings. The Sutra of the Future was the strongest Buddhist cultivation method. Once it was spread out, it would cause a bloody storm. What the silver-robed woman passed on to Su Yin was only the opening. But just the opening was so profound that even a powerhouse would find it difficult to comprehend it. She was shocked. Su Yan's perception was terrifying, and his deductive abilities were heaven-defying. He had even taken advantage of this dangerous situation to cultivate a primordial spirit. The result was completely different. Su Yan's cultivation was weak, but if he could cultivate a primordial spirit, then there was a high chance he would succeed. Are you ready? Su Yin stared at the silver-robed woman. He didn't know that 3 months had passed. He thought that only a short period of time had passed. She nodded, a smile of trust and anticipation in her eyes. She had completely placed her life in Su Yan's hands. But who knew that Su Yan's chest would fiercely thrust out, pressing against her towering breasts? Although in her eyes, Su Yan was still a young man, the strong masculine aura caused her breathing to quicken. Her eyes widened and her brain short-circuited. Woo! She cried out in pain, her eyebrows furrowing. This was because Su Yan had taken this chance to ruthlessly pull out the blood spear. I'm sorry, I was in a hurry. Please don't blame me. Su Yan instantly hugged the paralyzed, silver-robed woman. A palm fell on her waist. Su Yan's hand trembled. This was too thin. Su Yan didn't have time to think. The silver-robed woman was in extreme pain. Her jade-like hands tightly gripped Su Yan's arm. Because she was using too much strength, her fingernails had cut through Su Yan's clothes and pierced into his flesh. Su Yan endured the pain and carefully placed her on the ground. He solemnly stared at the bloody hole on her shoulder and said in a deep voice, "Bear with it. The wound on your arm must have been there for a long time. If it's not treated in time, your arm will definitely be crippled. It might even leave a hidden disease that is difficult to treat." The silver-robed woman wanted to say something, but she didn't open her mouth. Her limpid eyes quietly looked at Su Yan. Su Yan's palm landed on her robe, wanting to tear it off, but Su Yan looked like he'd seen a ghost. Her robe was too hard. With Su Yan's strength, he couldn't tear it apart. Su Yan's gaze landed on the silver-robed woman's graceful and elegant face. He saw that her eyes were closed, as if she had fallen asleep. "Go to sleep. Leave it to me." Su Yan took out his storage bag. Fortunately, there was a lot of medicinal liquid inside. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to deal with it. Su Yan took off her clothes, revealing her snow-white skin. It was smooth and delicate, without a single flaw. Su Yan's breathing was a bit heavy. In all his years, this was the first time he had seen such an erotic scene. He took a deep breath and slapped his face, calming himself down. The silver-robed woman's eyes quietly opened. As she looked at the youth's appearance, the corners of her lips curled up and a faint blush appeared on her cheeks. Mother asterisk her, what a pain. Su Yan's throat was extremely dry. He swallowed his saliva. Her shining white body made him feel dizzy. He fiercely shivered, clenched his teeth, and took out the essence liquid. "Wash it first. Do you want to touch it? In any case, she's asleep. Forget it, it'll be awkward if I'm discovered. With my illustrious reputation, I can't make any mistakes. But if I touch it, she probably won't know." No, the scripture he just passed to me is very powerful. I've already condensed a primordial spirit, so this should be my reward, right? Right, not bad. Reward, let's get to work. Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. He glanced at the silver-robed woman. When Su Yan's gaze shifted over, her eyes closed. Her eyelashes were long, and her eyebrows were slender and beautiful. Su Yan muttered to himself. He used the essence liquid to wash her wounds and also clean the blood from her body. He took out many bottles and jars from Lei Lao's storage bag. In any case, he had obtained them for no reason at all. Su Yan used them lavishly. All sorts of medicinal liquids flowed over her wounds. Su Yan was so busy that his forehead was covered in sweat. He wasn't tired, but his heart was. Su Yan constantly struggled with himself. As he struggled, her wounds were more or less treated. Aya, what a good-for-nothing. Su Yan shook his head. He carefully dressed her and then stood up. He stared at the silver-robed woman lying quietly on the ground. As he watched her slowly fall asleep, Su Yan sat down nearby. Sutra of the Future. This name is too domineering, but it sounds like a Buddhist scripture. Su Yan thought about the Sutra of the Future. His heart was filled with excitement. He didn't expect to use this opportunity to open up a primordial spirit. This was a primordial spirit. In the entire Huaxiao Alliance, the number of cultivators who had cultivated a primordial spirit was pitifully small. A small person flipped out of Su Yan's forehead. It was like a small Buddha. It was very small, only the size of a soybean. Upon closer inspection, its facial features were exactly the same as Su Yan's. It was like a miniature version of Su Yan. The small primordial spirit wandered around the bronze hall. After a while, Su Yan felt very tired. You've just cultivated a primordial spirit. Don't wander around. Go home. Su Yin waved his hand. The small primordial spirit rolled and entered Su Yan's forehead. It sat cross-legged in his sea of consciousness. Su Yin fell silent. He still couldn't find the lost memories of his primordial spirit. Could it be that he had been sleeping for the past 100 years? After thinking for a long time, Su Yin sighed. His eyes fell on the blood spear. Su Yin grinned and laughed in his heart. This thing is very scary. It must have a great background. When he saw the blood spear, Su Yan's face changed. There were many cracks on the blood spear. This thing couldn't have been destroyed, right? Su Yan didn't touch it. This thing was too strange. He had used all his strength to pull it out of the silver-robed woman's body. Fortunately, nothing happened. Su Yin began to cultivate this scripture according to the description of the Sutra of the Future. Immersed in silence, Su Yin lost track of time. He didn't notice that the silver-robed woman's skin was gradually shining. Her body seemed to have countless origin essence stones that were emitting extremely pure energy, replenishing her losses. No, this doesn't seem like a cultivation method. Su Yin frowned. After studying it for a long time, he actually felt that this was some sort of supernatural mystic technique, one that had the foundation of a supreme cultivation method. But this sort of supernatural mystic technique was too difficult to cultivate. Su Yan's primordial spirit was still too weak. He needed to grow stronger before he could cultivate it. Don't study the Sutra of the Future too deeply. The beginning of the scripture is easy to understand, but the later parts are too profound. It isn't something you can understand right now. A gentle voice sounded out. Su Yin hurriedly crawled up. Seeing the silver-robed woman stand up, he smiled and said, "You're awake. Are you feeling better?" "Much better. Thank you very much." The silver-robed woman nodded and walked over. Although her face was still pale, her complexion was much better than before. Her limpid eyes looked at Su Yin, and she earnestly said, "My name is Bamboo Moon. I will remember this kindness and repay you in the future." "Don't be so polite." Su Yin hurriedly said, "My name is Su Yin. The scripture you imparted to me is already very powerful. You must not spread the sutra of the future. Otherwise, there will be quite a bit of trouble." Bamboo Moon combed the black hair in front of her forehead. She was graceful and elegant, exuding an otherworldly beauty. She gently said, "Furthermore, I only have the beginning. This is a secret of Buddhism. You must not leak it out." "Buddhism?" Su Yan's eyes widened, and he curiously asked, "Where does Buddhism belong? Is it in the universe?" Bamboo Moon was stunned by his question. She then laughed and said, "I almost forgot. Your planet has just recovered the essence of heaven and earth. It is still far from understanding the universe. The universe really has traces of life." Su Yin was shocked. He had saved an alien. He was full of doubts and hurriedly asked, "How big is the universe? How did you come to Earth?" "Very big, beyond your imagination. Even if I tell you, it's hard to say. Planets like this that have just awakened, there are so many in the universe that you can't even count them. Under normal circumstances, it would take thousands of years for them to recover to their peak. But how strong this planet will ultimately be is still unknown." Bamboo Moon's words made Su Yin daydream. What she meant was that the future development of Earth was unknown. But if he wanted to know the specifics, he would have to wait for thousands of years. Also, this planet is very small. However, it will gradually expand with the recovery of the dragon energy. Some very large ancient planets with life have an overall surface area that is billions of times larger than Earth. Bamboo Moon's voice petrified Su Yin. How big was that? How vast and how terrifying. He didn't even dare to think about it. "As for me, my situation is a little special." Bamboo Moon recalled. 10 years ago, I encountered a strong enemy and hid all the way to this uninhabited star field. As my energy was exhausted and I was seriously injured, I came to the planet you mentioned. Sigh, I didn't expect this planet to just awaken. As for this bronze hall, it is my weapon. You have seen my situation. I am seriously injured and can't move at all. I can't even open the door." Su Yin was speechless. This was a little ridiculous. This was the origin of the Tower of Trials. Later on, she created the Tower of Trials to attract people. Later on, Xiaze brought the Tower of Trials to Huaxia University to open the door to your own treasure. Suyin rolled his eyes. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon was a little embarrassed. She was embarrassed like a little girl and quickly explained, I had no choice but to do so. However, some of the inheritances I left behind are very good. Especially you are very outstanding in the field of array Dao. Suyin knew that it was because of the black, or if not for the black, or it would be too difficult to open the bronze door. She was also taking advantage of the array Dao strength. Suyin. Chapter 69. Go with you. Suyin was stunned. You want to take me away from Earth? That's right. Bamboo Moon said very seriously. The mystic art of formations is divided into 9 levels. It's already very good that you can use the terrain to open the bronze door. In the future, you will go far in the field of formations. However, in the field of mystic arts, you are only the lowest level of mystic arts. The lowest level of mystic arts. Suyin was shocked. In other words, like pharmacists, there are 9 levels? How can pharmacists be compared to mystic arts? Pharmacists can only be compared to formations. Bamboo Moon gently shook her head and said, Mystic arts, some people also call them mystic arts escape masters. In the world of cultivation, they are as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. Do you know that even the 3rd level of mystic arts has the power to control the qi of dragon veins and fight against strong enemies? Suyin did not doubt this point. He listened carefully. Of course, the 3rd level is not particularly strong. They can only barely control the low-level dragon veins. Bamboo Moon chuckled and said, for example, if you surpass the 5th level and step into the 6th level, you can control the power of the heavens. Below the 5th level, including the 5th level, you can control the power of the earth. Suyin understood. The 3rd level was the earth, and above the 6th level was the heavens. Once the power of the heavens and earth is grasped, you are strong. You can preach in the starry sky and set up endless killing traps to kill enemies. Unfortunately, I don't understand this. I can only hope that there is an outstanding genius in the field of formations on this planet who can comprehend the mystic arts. I know some masters who use this method to test formation geniuses. However, out of millions of cultivators, there might not be one who meets the requirements. Not to mention, Suyin, you have surpassed the requirements. So, Suyin, if you can become their disciple and cultivate the mystic arts, your future achievements will be extraordinary. It will be enough to make a name for yourself in a star field. Bamboo Moon's words made Suyin silent. He looked at Bamboo Moon and said, Is this repayment? Hearing this, Bamboo Moon smiled bitterly and said, Don't say that. I just want to help you. When you go with me, you will know the powerful side of Master Chiman. No, I can't go with you now. I still have a lot of things to do. Suyin shook his head. Even if he was given a mountain of gold and silver, he would not leave Earth now. Not leaving? Bamboo Moon was stunned, and her expression was complicated. If she were to announce this to the outside world, who knew how many geniuses would leave with her, but Suyin actually refused. Yes, I still have things to do. Suyin said in a deep voice, It's impossible for me to leave in a short time. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. Earth's laws of heaven and earth have yet to form. I won't be able to unleash too much power on Earth. This is also a form of protection for your planet. Suyin was surprised by Bamboo Moon's words. There was such a saying, but he thought about it and found it to be true. If the experts were to come to Earth with vicious intentions, who could stop them? Suyin, I hope you can consider this carefully. The place I am at is too far away from Earth. Bamboo Moon frowned and said, Even if I could cross over, it would be extremely difficult. I have been away from home for too long, and I have to go back and take a look. Your comprehension is very strong, and it's too wasteful for you to stay on Earth. Is there anything you can't deal with when you come back? Bamboo Moon, don't try to persuade me. I really can't leave. Suyin was silent for a while. He looked at her and said seriously, You don't have to feel that you owe me. The Sutra of the Future is already very good. I even cultivated a primordial spirit. Bamboo Moon wanted to say something, but in the end, she didn't. A primordial spirit was nothing. Looking at the prosperous cultivation world, there were many peerless geniuses at Su Yan's age who looked down on the starry sky and whose fame spread far and wide. Not to mention those young supremes who were invincible in a star field. How terrifying was that? Bamboo Moon felt that with Su Yan's talent in the occult arts, there was a possibility that he would be famous in the star field in the future. All right then. Bamboo Moon lowered her head and said softly, "You have your choice. I won't interfere with you." "Oh, by the way, how are you going to leave here?" Su Yin said in surprise. "Could it be that you can cross the universe?" "It's very difficult to cross the universe. Although I can do it, I can't cross to my hometown." Bamboo Moon pointed at the bronze hall and said, "This is my treasure. It can also fly in the universe. I can rely on it to return to my hometown." "Amazing." Su Yin laughed and said, "I wonder when I can rely on my own ability to cross the universe." Hearing this, Bamboo Moon smiled helplessly. This was too difficult. It was basically impossible to grow up in an environment like Earth. Even in the prosperous cultivation world, it was still very difficult. Su Yin looked at Bamboo Moon, and Bamboo Moon also looked at him. When their eyes met, Zhiyu clenched her jade-like hands tightly. She walked over and looked at Su Yin with her misty eyes. Su Yin looked, and a dizzy feeling came in front of his eyes. The last scene he saw in the darkness was Bamboo Moon, a beauty with a myriad of manners. Bamboo Moon stretched out her arms and hugged Su Yin. She slowly put the unconscious Su Yin on the ground, following which her jade-like hand opened Su Yan's storage bag and took out a black ore. Seeing this black ore, Bamboo Moon smiled bitterly and said, "Who knows how many powerhouses would kill to obtain this treasure? It's actually in your hands. It's the will of the heavens, the will of the heavens." Another black ore appeared in her hand. The two ores were identical, but they could be perfectly combined. Bamboo Moon frowned. She wanted to separate the godly metal, but she found that she couldn't do so with her strength. Her expression was complicated. She smiled bitterly and shook her head. She had gone through many hardships to obtain this godly metal. She had almost died because of it. She had used many methods, but she still couldn't open the thing in the black godly metal. However, she knew that this thing was something that even some terrifying old monsters couldn't sit still. It must be very terrifying. My head hurts. What should I do? Take it and sneak away? A playful smile flashed on her delicate and impeccable face. Her limpid eyes were filled with ripples that made one's heart tremble. Bamboo Moon was silent for a moment. Then, she placed the complete piece of black godly metal into Su Yan's arms. "Huh," Bamboo Moon sighed. "Lucky little fellow, I'll give it to you. I hope you can unravel its secrets." Then, Bamboo Moon smiled, revealing small dimples on her cheeks. She reached out from her sleeves and looked at Su Yin with her limpid eyes. Then, she stroked his face. From the corner of her eyes, Zhiyu noticed the sparkling crystal on Su Yan's neck. Her jade-like hand picked up a crystal pendant from Su Yan's chest. After seriously examining it, she said suspiciously in her heart, "Why does this thing look so familiar?" Bamboo Moon looked at it for a long time. She still didn't know what this crystal that grew up with Su Yin was. However, she could see that it was very hard. Even if she used all her strength, she still couldn't destroy it. You have a lot of little secrets. After a long time, Bamboo Moon placed the crystal in Su Yan's arms and sighed. She took off the emerald green phoenix hairpin that held her hair together. Her hair instantly fell down and fluttered in the wind. It was very charming. She solemnly placed the phoenix hairpin in Su Yan's hands and muttered to herself, "I hope the things inside can help you. I have to go. I'm sorry, Su Yin. I can't stay here any longer. My injuries are very serious after all these years. I have to go to the universe to recuperate." The Bamboo Moon floated in the air like a fairy. The moment it soared into the air, the bronze hall disappeared into nothingness. She turned her head and smiled, looking at Su Yin with a charming expression. After that, she disappeared without a trace. Su Yin was in a deep sleep. Bamboo Moon floated away. Huaxia University, on the other hand, was a mess. Why are there so many casualties? Didn't we dig out many ancient treasures? The beasts are too strong. They seem to have been organized to ambush the experts of the Huaxiao Alliance. The casualties are very heavy. The Huaxiao Alliance was filled with the smell of blood. Some powerful teachers had died in battle. This matter attracted the attention of the higher-ups of the Huaxiao Alliance. They wouldn't let the dragon vein fall into the mouths of the beasts. Big news. The Jiao Dragon King has killed his way into the ancient ruins. More than half of our human experts are dead. There's not just one dragon vein. There are 9 dragon veins and 9 entrances to the ancient ruins. What? 9 dragon veins? This news shook the entire Huaxiao Alliance. How terrifying was the Jiao Dragon King? He was one of the strongest demon kings among the beasts. He was comparable to the top 10 experts of the Huaxiao Alliance. However, the appearance of 9 dragon veins shocked the Huaxiao Alliance. All the forces spontaneously gathered together, wanting to conquer the ancient ruins to prepare for the second great change on Earth. Xia Zhe's face was solemn. He could already see the chaos. The beasts were still fine, but there was internal chaos. The appearance of 9 dragon veins made all the forces go crazy to occupy the dragon veins. This battle could be said to be the start of the final battle between the Huaxiao Alliance and the beasts. It was a feast of slaughter. The smell of blood filled the air within 1,000 miles. Even the clouds were dyed red. A large number of beasts were dying in battle all the time. What do you think? Xia Zhe was uneasy. The situation was out of control. Once the peace was out of control, the people at the bottom would be the ones to suffer. It's too fast. Why do I feel that someone is manipulating everything behind the scenes? Yi Yuan's words made Xia Zhe even more uneasy. He faintly felt that this would be the second calamity of the Huaxiao Alliance. It would continue with the beginning of the changes on Earth. The chaos in the Huaxiao Alliance was related to the dragon veins. After all, the dragon veins were the resources for the rise of the tribes. The appearance of 9 dragon veins caused the entire Huaxiao Alliance to be in chaos. How did Huaxia University rise? It was because they had control over the dragon veins. The appearance of 9 dragon veins was enough to make people go crazy. Xia Zhe didn't know who leaked the news. Therefore, he and Yi Yuan believed that someone was adding fuel to the fire, causing an unprecedented war to break out in the Huaxiao Alliance. For the sake of benefits, one could imagine how terrifying this war was. It was even for the sake of the future of the tribes. Countless forces, big and small, had gathered together and killed their way into the wilderness of Base 9. Xia Zhe couldn't stop them even if he wanted to. Once he stopped them, a civil war would definitely break out. There were even monster kings and many beast kings in the wilderness. Once they fought together, the sky would definitely collapse. It was equivalent to a final battle. The smell of war swept across the entire Huaxiao Alliance. Day after day, the entire wilderness was filled with rivers of blood and mountains of corpses. I almost peed my pants. The big fatty crawled out from the pile of corpses and didn't dare to come here again. He felt that the people here had gone crazy. For the sake of the dragon veins and the ancient treasures that appear by chance, some bloody civil wars had even broken out. However, the strength of the Huaxiao Alliance was also beyond expectations. Some unknown powerhouses were extremely terrifying. They had been dormant for decades, and at this moment, their fame had spread far and wide. The speed of the Earth's transformation was also increasing rapidly. Originally, there would be a heaven and earth movement once a month, but now it was more frequent. Once every few days, there would be a super powerful fluctuation that would affect the entire Earth. It was as if a mysterious world was about to open up between heaven and earth. Within 1,000 miles, there was almost no place that was intact. Blood and broken bones were everywhere. Only the central area was still a pure land. Zhu Yin sniffed the smell of blood and spread his arms as if he was embracing the heavens. The territory he was in was like a rising dragon. Perhaps because of the smell of blood, the undulating mountain range was faintly dark red. I'm looking forward to the arrival of Dao. Zhu Yin breathed in the air that was sticky with the smell of blood. He had a premonition that the second great change on Earth would happen in less than a year. It was very likely that it would happen in a few months. Huaxia University was not peaceful. Even the final exams were postponed indefinitely. The disciples who passed by the Tower of Trials were still looking at the 11th floor. They knew that a student named Su Yin had stayed on the 11th floor for too long. Some people even suspected that Su Yin had died. Is this kid really dead? Chapter 70. Su Yin slowly woke up from his deep slumber. He crawled up and scratched his head in a daze. How did he fall asleep? He seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes quickly swept around. The bronze hall had disappeared. She's gone. That heartless fellow must have drugged me and snuck away. Su Yin raised his head and looked at the top of the pagoda. His heart felt empty. Bamboo Moon had left. Thinking back to his experiences in the Tower of Trials, Su Yin couldn't help but laugh. Fate is really unpredictable. Bamboo Moon only used some tricks, and the Tower of Trials became the Academy's land of inheritance. All of this made Su Yin feel like he was dreaming. Then his expression changed. He reached into his pocket and took out a piece of black, godly metal. Su Yin's expression changed. The black, godly metal had changed, and there was more than half of it. However, Su Yin felt that this was the complete piece. What's going on? Could it be Bamboo Moon? This thing was too important to Su Yin. He didn't hesitate and directly reached out with his divine sense, entering the inner world of the black, godly metal. The world inside had also changed. The terrain was much more majestic than before. This made Su Yin tremble. The original black, godly metal was terrifying enough, but now it was even more shocking. Good heavens, it must be the other half that Bamboo Moon gave to me. Even the inheritance inside has been strengthened by a lot. When Su Yin's eyes scanned the layout inside, the layout was also strengthened by a lot. This made him very excited. If he could grasp it, it would be heaven-defying. Su Yin carefully put away the black, godly metal. Now, it was very difficult for him to continue comprehending the things inside. It involved the power of heaven and earth. The great Tao laws could only be comprehended at a deeper level after his cultivation increased. There's a jade slip. Bamboo Moon left it for me, right? After Su Yin opened it, Bamboo Moon's gentle voice sounded in his ears. Su Yin, I've left. I left you something. Use your life, essence, blood to open it. Maybe we'll meet again if fate allows. Let's meet again if fate wills it. Su Yin laughed and said, when I finish my business, maybe I will really go to the big universe. Have a nice trip, Bamboo Moon. He also noticed a dark green phoenix hairpin. It looked as if it was carved from divine jade and was emitting a green divine radiance. This should be Bamboo Moon's personal item, as it still had her fragrance. Su Yin forced out a drop of blood essence from his blood essence and dripped it onto the phoenix hairpin. Buzz! The phoenix hairpin awoke and shot out dark green divine light in all directions. It was like a rare treasure. The exquisite phoenix hairpin was faintly suffused with waves of cries of ancient phoenixes, as if it wanted to spread its wings and soar into the 9 heavens. What treasure is this? Su Yin was astonished. The aura of this phoenix hairpin was truly terrifying. Soon after, he realized that he and the phoenix hairpin were connected by flesh and blood. He immediately released his primordial spirit and opened up the space within the phoenix hairpin. The space inside was very large, far larger than the space of a storage bag. It was as big as a basketball court. Bamboo Moon, oh Bamboo Moon, you are really rich. Su Yin was so excited that his eyes were shining. Within the space of the phoenix hairpin, the first thing that entered his eyes was a total of 3,000 origin essence stones. 3,000 origin essence stones. Ha ha, I'm rich. Su Yin was excited. He didn't expect that Bamboo Moon would leave him so many origin essence stones. If an ordinary life spring realm cultivator were to obtain them, they would definitely be able to cultivate to the peak of the life spring realm, or even step into the tool building realm. Of course, there are more than these things. When Su Yin saw that there were some beast skin maps inside, he took them all out at once. The 3rd and 4th volumes of the Art of Formations. After Su Yin inspected them with his primordial spirit, the smile on his face became even wider. These were all extremely profound formations, especially the fifth volume. It was a large-scale formation. As long as there were enough materials, it wouldn't be a problem to set up the entire Huaxia University. The Sutra of the Future. Su Yan's expression was solemn. Bamboo Moon had said that this item was of great importance and could not be leaked out. The Sutra of the Future was a primordial spirit secret art. It had a foundation establishment chapter that tempered the primordial spirit. Now that Su Yan's primordial spirit had been cultivated, as long as his primordial spirit was strong enough, he could use one of the primordial spirit's secret arts in the opening chapter of the Sutra of the Future. South Pole Starry Sky Art. Su Yan saw another heavenly art. After studying it, he was shocked. It was many times more profound than the golden crow burning the heavens art and the primordial singular energy art. To cultivate this art, one needed to absorb the essence of the stars. Su Yan, the South Pole Starry Sky art, is very strong. It will be difficult for you to grow on a newly awakened planet. But the South Pole Starry Sky art is different. It absorbs the power of the stars. You must cultivate it well and not play around. A playful voice sounded, causing Su Yan to smile wryly. It was as if Bamboo Moon was supervising his cultivation from the other side of the starry sky. Remember, the divine art I imparted to you is extremely powerful. It can be used in conjunction with the South Pole Starry Sky art. But the South Pole Starry Sky art is far inferior to the Big Dipper Fist. Once the Big Dipper Fist reaches the large success stage, it will evolve into the Big Dipper Fist. Its power can be called a great divine art. Su Yan's breathing was heavy. He had obtained another fist manual. The Big Dipper Fist condensed the 7 stars of the Big Dipper. Every fist technique was a divine art, and the difficulty of cultivating it was climbing. Once the 7 fist techniques were combined into one, it would be the Big Dipper Fist. A great divine art, the Big Dipper Fist. Oh my God, what is Bamboo Moon's background? How can she give away such a powerful martial art just like that? Our Huaxia University also has divine arts. These should be minor divine arts, but this great divine art must be extremely terrifying. Su Yan sucked in a breath of cold air. Just by searching for the treasures below, Su Yan felt like he was being kept as a mistress. I can see that your body is strong, but I can't see through it. You probably have a protective treasure on you. The world of cultivation is full of treacherous people. It's best that you don't tell anyone about your fortuitous encounter. Su Yan speculated that it was the dragon totem that covered his physical body. With the strength of 10,000 horses, if it was an expert, they could see through his foundation with their primordial spirit. If you want to open the life spring, it will be extremely difficult. For a newly awakened planet, the strongest source of life spring qi is probably the draconic qi. This Xianwang Mother Qi is the best source of life spring qi. I hope it will be of help to you. Su Yan was silent as he stared at a small white jade cauldron. There was a Xianhuang Mother Qi in the cauldron, which was much more precious than the draconic qi. The last treasure I'm giving you is the most special one. It's called the Source Seed. It will accompany you for the rest of your life. You need to cultivate the Source Seed with Source Essence Stones. I only have so many Source Essence Stones with me. When this thing is cultivated to a certain level, it can be turned into a Source Brush. The Source Brush can help you copy the formation marks of the heaven and earth. It is divided into 9 grades. When the Source Seed evolves to the first grade, it can be turned into a Source Brush. When this Source Seed evolves to the 7th grade, or even the 8th grade if you're lucky, this item is nurtured by the heavens. You must treat it well. As for the Tower of Trials, it's my treasure. I'm giving it to you now. You can do whatever you want with it. However, you can't activate the Tower of Trials now. When you have enough strength, you can try to activate the Tower of Trials. Bamboo Moon's voice gradually dissipated. Su Yan let out a long sigh. You've given me so many good things. How am I going to repay you in the future? Su Yan clenched his fist and opened up an exquisite cauldron. There was a golden seed inside. This was the Source Seed. Su Yin followed the method that Bamboo Moon taught him. His primordial spirit's power covered the sky and covered the earth as it first entered the source seed. This source seed was pure and flawless. As long as Su Yin imprinted his imprint on it, the source seed would recognize him as its owner. Buzz! The source seed glowed with a dazzling golden splendor. Su Yin could feel that it was alive. It even had a part of Su Yan's imprint on it. Source seed. Su Yin took a deep breath. His primordial spirit flew out and returned to his sea of consciousness with the source seed. Su Yin wasn't in a hurry to cultivate it. He closed his eyes and carefully sensed for a while. He faintly realized that he could control the Tower of Trials. Now, I had become the target of the challengers. Su Yin couldn't help but laugh. He could already feel the power of the Tower of Trials. With his current strength, it was impossible for him to control it. At the very least, he had to cultivate to the life spring realm to have a glimmer of hope. He took out the South Pole Starry Sky Art and started studying it. My soul has already transformed into the primordial spirit. I should be able to see the life spring, right? I will try it after comprehending the South Pole Starry Sky Art. Day after day passed. The Huaxia Alliance was getting more and more chaotic. The entire wilderness was in chaos. For the sake of the Dragon Vein, the various factions of the Huaxia Alliance had joined forces. However, the strength of the ferocious beasts exceeded their expectations. One after another, the Demon Kings stepped into the wilderness. Xiaozhe and Martial God are here. Why hasn't Martial God Zhu Yan appeared? If he appeared, with Martial God Zhu Yan's combat strength, he would definitely be able to kill the Demon Kings. Yes, the Dragon Vein is of great importance. It must not fall into the hands of the Demon Kings. Rivers of blood were flowing in the wilderness. The killings continued to intensify. The entire ninth base seemed to be on the verge of being destroyed. On the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials, Su Yin sat inside with his fists clenched. He had failed again. Why is this happening? Su Yin breathed heavily and his eyes turned red. Why was he still failing? He had already formed the primordial spirit and even comprehended the South Pole Starry Sky Art, but he still couldn't find the life spring. At this moment, a series of loud noises erupted from the entire earth. It was as if a key had been unlocked between heaven and earth. Waves of terrifying power, like that of an ancient dragon, suddenly swept across the universe, causing the stars in the sky to tremble. Buzz! While the Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar, Su Yan's dormant bloodline seemed to have unlocked a terrifying shackle. It was boiling and roaring with the arrival of the earth, the heavens, and the earth, and the Tao. His blood started to awaken along with the earth. It was as if it had transformed into a golden ocean. Within the golden ocean, there was a majestic figure sitting cross-legged with its head above the firmament. Chapter 71. Oh my God, the second great change on Earth is coming. The entire Huaxia Alliance was shaken because it came too suddenly. It was faster than everyone's expectations. The entire Earth seemed to be swept by the wind of the great Tao, causing a terrifying earthquake. All the mountains rumbled, all the mountains shook, and all the territories were undulating like dragons and snakes. Everything was uprooted by the power of the great Tao of Earth's recovery. The entire Earth seemed to be awakening like humans. It seemed to have accumulated enough energy. The moment it awakened, it turned into a majestic dragon, recovering wisps of energy and emitting a terrifying aura. The Earth was like a demon. The awakening airflow pierced through the sky and bombarded the four corners of the Earth. The stars in the universe rumbled and were about to fall at any time. The movement was too shocking. The entire Earth was awakening, giving birth to billions of unimaginable energy. What was this? This was the birth of the power of heaven and earth. It was not comparable to the current human strength. Once the Earth's awakening was complete, the power of heaven and earth would be formed. Only then could it completely evolve into the era of gods and demons. The cultivation environment would also be perfected, and people in the future would be able to go further. Rumble. The speed of the Earth's awakening was very slow. However, the power of heaven and earth rippled out, bathing the entire earth in the power of destruction. Countless people coughed out blood and were almost crushed by the power of heaven and earth that fell from the sky. Is it going to be another great extinction? The severely injured old masters trembled. They felt the power rippling between heaven and earth that wanted to destroy everything. It was just like the apocalypse on earth. The birth of the power of heaven and earth caused people to die because they could not withstand it. However, what surprised them was that the cultivators with low cultivation were fine. On the contrary, the stronger they were, the more serious their injuries were. Retreat to the 9th base. Xia Zhe roared to the sky. He revived the heaven stabilizer bell and shook the entire wilderness. Xia Zhe knew that the second awakening on earth was the birth of the power of heaven and earth. The stronger one's cultivation was, the crueler the test would be. During this process, the power of heaven and earth would be born with everyone. The process was naturally dangerous, and there was a high risk of death. However, once the second great change on earth was completed, the human body would change. Then, the human body would also mutate, transform, and become stronger than before. The beasts were also modified by the rules of heaven and earth. For a time, the war in base number 9 stopped. Although something more dangerous than war was slowly brewing, they knew that it was their good fortune. The power of heaven and earth began to increase as time passed. Some of the older experts were laughing loudly. They didn't have much lifespan left, but if they could survive this great change, they might be able to soar into the sky and obtain an even greater lifespan. Danger and opportunity accompanied by danger. I can't hear you. His primordial spirit. Su Yan's primordial spirit. His primordial spirit. His primordial spirit was awakening. His primordial spirit. Primordial God. The primordial God. The primordial God. The primordial God. He seemed to be chanting in a distant time and space. So, Su Yan could not hear him. Su Yan was very anxious. He felt that the primordial God and his primordial God bloodline had opened a very grand technique, but he could not hear it. For the whole day, Su Yan was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. The changes on earth were still ongoing. It was already the second day. The birth of the power of heaven and earth increased. Earth's environment changed quietly. Under the birth of the power of heaven and earth became even more grand and sturdy. Ha ha, I've awakened. I've awakened. Ha ha, I've awakened. An ecstatic voice spread throughout the entire Huaxiao alliance. Since the birth of the power of heaven and earth, the rate of awakened ones on earth soared like a rocket. This was not beyond Xia Zhe's expectations. The cultivation environment has changed. The power of heaven and earth has been born. Earth is like a great mother. It will bless all life on earth. Cultivation will be easier than before. The difficulty of awakening will also be greatly reduced. The shackles of realms will be easier to break. In the future, the number of awakened ones in the Huaxiao Alliance will be shocking. The third day arrived. People realized that Earth's power of heaven and earth had increased. Everyone was excited. Cultivation would be easier in the future. Earth was becoming more and more grand. In the process of awakening, more and more power of heaven and earth was born. Some people realized that Earth was absorbing the power of the universe. What scripture is this? However, on the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials, Su Yan was dumbstruck. 3 days had passed, and his bloodline had awakened even more. He faintly heard some scriptures. He looked as if he had seen a ghost. Wasn't this the primordial God scripture? The primordial God scripture in his bloodline was actually the primordial God scripture. Even the heavens won't help me? Su Yan staggered and almost fell to the ground. He clenched his fist and laughed bitterly. He already had the primordial God scripture. Su Yan did not know whether to laugh or cry. What should he do now? He already had the primordial God scripture. Although he could only cultivate his body like the Einer jar, Su Yan's body's potential was too terrifying. To break this shackle was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Gradually, Su Yan's ears perked up. His primordial spirit shone brightly as he listened to the majestic scripture in his bloodline. This scripture was terrifying. It was as if it was creating the heavens, stealing all Daos, and reenacting the primordial era. Su Yan's face gradually revealed a smile. Unbelievable! The cultivation technique in my bloodline is the primordial God scripture. The beginning is the primordial God scripture, but the following scriptures are different from the primordial God scripture. However, there is an additional method to open the life spring. Su Yan became more and more excited as he listened. His body could not stop trembling. This scripture was too terrifying. It was as if two celestial cultivation techniques were presented in front of Su Yan's eyes. However, they were perfectly combined, merging the two celestial cultivation techniques into one. Once the scripture was cultivated, one's physical body and life spring could be cultivated at the same time. Of course, there were many celestial cultivation techniques that cultivated both. However, there was one very important point. The primordial God scripture was terrifying enough. Within the primordial God scripture, there was another celestial cultivation technique that was as profound and difficult to understand as the primordial God scripture. However, they were combined into one. What a shocking celestial cultivation technique. Since I don't know its name, I'll continue with the primordial God scripture. Su Yan could not help but wonder. What kind of existence was his ancestor? Could it be that my ancestor improved the primordial God scripture and thus created the current primordial God scripture? Or could it be that the true dragon did not pass down the complete primordial God scripture to me? Su Yan speculated that this was very possible. Perhaps the true dragon only cultivated the physical body and not the life spring. That was why he had the primordial God scripture that specialized in cultivating the physical body. Su Yan could see that the two celestial cultivation techniques could be separated, but they could also be combined. With each passing day, Su Yan heard more and more scriptures. He was pleasantly surprised and moved. The initial scripture said that one could borrow the strength of one's physical body to pierce through one's chi si and form a bridge. One could forcefully open the path to heaven and open the life spring. What a great primordial God scripture. Let's start cultivating now. Su Yan tilted his head back and laughed heartily. The phoenix hairpin hidden in his hair suddenly scattered origin essence stones all around Su Yan. This was a shocking scene. A total of 1,000 origin essence stones were piled together, emitting a monstrous amount of spiritual energy. It was as if a great river was gushing out a tide of life. Su Yan's physical body suddenly blazed to its peak. The sound of 10,000 horses galloping could be heard. A vast amount of divine energy pierced through Su Yan's physical body. To forcefully open the life spring, one had to exhaust an endless amount of chi and blood. Su Yan had to ensure that he had enough energy to help him complete the path of awakening. Let's begin. I'm going to open the life spring. Su Yan gritted his teeth. His spiritual energy was different from before. His martial will rose from the ground, and his entire body soared up. The true dragon's chi and bloodlight beam. His physical body was like a dragon's as it raised its head and roared. Su Yan's primordial spirit glowed and entered the dragon's head. At this moment, the true dragon possessed divinity. It was as if it had turned into a living true dragon. It drilled into Su Yan's spine and entered his chi si. Roar! The true dragon roared, wanting to shatter the chaos in the sky. The beginning scripture was unrivaled. It forcefully opened the life spring's eye with a domineering attitude. Rumble! The chi si shook. Su Yan crazily circulated the beginning scripture and absorbed the energy of the origin essence stones. He realized that the beginning scripture's absorption speed was even more terrifying than the original beginning scripture. The origin essence stones formed a river of spiritual energy. It was shocking. Now, it was entering Su Yan's body through his pores and finally converging into the true dragon. It provided him with the strongest foundation and supported him to forcefully open the life spring. 6 days and 6 nights had passed. The entire earth could be said to have gone through a great disaster. The heaven and earth's spiritual energy was greatly strengthened. In these 6 days, At least 1 million people had awakened. As for the powerful cultivators, they had gone through a tribulation. The heaven and earth's laws had penetrated deep into their bodies, causing them unbearable pain. However, in these 6 days, some people had completed a transformation. Their chi and blood were even more abundant and powerful. I'm afraid that the standard for the future awakened will be raised to 200 horses of strength. The Earth's environment has changed. The standard of cultivation has also increased. Many of our Academy's disciples have broken through. It's really great. However, I feel that the vicious beasts are also becoming stronger. Many of the terrifying beast kings in the wilderness are also transforming. There will definitely be a tough battle in the future. The entire Huaxiao Alliance was showing signs of a storm sweeping through. In the Tower of Trials, Su Yin persisted day after day. The Origin Essence Stones in the Tower of Trials' 12th floor were almost used up. Su Yin had no choice but to take out all the Origin Essence Stones. His physical strength had gathered the strength of a true dragon. He rampaged through the primordial chaos, forcefully opening one heavenly path after another. Under the influence of the heaven and earth's laws, Su Yan's physical body became even more terrifying. He was like the divine king who had created the heavens and earth. I found it. On the 8th day, Su Yan was ecstatic. He saw the end of the primordial chaos. It was a blurry spring. This was his fate spring. Open for me, open. The divine dragon emerged from the sea, roaming the horizon. Su Yan bombarded the fate spring in his peak state. Again and again, wave after wave of attacks came crashing down. After an entire day, another 1,000 Origin Essence Stones were used up. However, Su Yan was about to despair. The fate spring was very difficult to open. It was like an indestructible divine iron. It's almost the 9th day, and it's still awakening. Ordinary ancient planets only need 3 days. However, it's already been 6 days on Earth, and it's still strengthening. Unbelievable. Earth's heaven and earth essence chi is almost comparable to that of a mid-level ancient cultivation planet. If the first awakening is at the level of a high-level ancient cultivation planet, then Earth will most likely be promoted to the top ancient cultivation planet in the future. Zhu Yin was in disbelief. When the 9th day arrived, the entire Earth was like a demon that had broken countless shackles. It emitted waves that caused the entire universe to rumble. The entire Milky Way began to tremble under Earth's aura. What's that? Even someone as strong as Zhu Yin was terrified. Billions of rays of great Tao light burst out from Earth. The entire Earth seemed to have disappeared and turned into a majestic being. Its head was above the heavens, its feet were on the sea of stars, and it was looking down on the universe. It was like an immortal imprint, an immortal giant. Its aura suppressed billions of creatures. It was like a reigning emperor of man, enlightening all beings. Roar! Suddenly, waves of terrifying dragon roars were heard. The dragon totem on Su Yan's arm was awakened. It appeared in the starry sky like a bolt of lightning. Its speed was too terrifying. It seemed to have circled the entire Earth, pulling the endless power of great Tao and disappearing without a trace. Chapter 72. First of all, the imprints that were faintly diffusing from the Earth already made Zhu Yin feel incredulous. He speculated that in the distant past, countless terrifying giants had walked out of the Earth and attained the Tao on the Earth. They had left behind imprints that even time couldn't erase. This was very important and very frightening. Once news of this spread, it would cause a huge earthquake. At that time, countless powerhouses of the universe would come and fight for the imprint. This was because the imprint contained the Tao fruit left behind by the giants of Earth. They had formed a path. Zhu Yan's heart was burning. If he could obtain it, it would be a heaven-defying fortune. However, the appearance of the true dragon made his expression change. This dragon was still alive? It had even appeared. Zhu Yan's expression was uncertain. Things were somewhat out of his control. Something unpredictable had happened on Earth, which made him very angry. He was faintly losing control of the overall situation. A dragon roaming the 9 heavens and 10 earths attracted the attention of countless people, especially the martial god, whose eyes were filled with suspicion. This was because he had discovered that the dragon's charm had appeared on Su Yan's body before. Could this be one of Su Yan's opportunities? In any case, Yuan was very excited. The appearance of a true dragon just now allowed him to see the true dragon's form. This would be very important for his future path. The appearance of the true dragon caused a huge uproar. The true dragon had returned and escaped into Su Yan's arm. Its aura was much stronger than before. Even the remaining power of the stolen Tao affected Su Yan's limbs and bones. At this moment, Su Yan's entire body was burning. That terrifying Tao force was the law of Earth's birth. It was also the power of new life. Usually, when an ancient planet awakened to this extent, there would be powerhouses from all walks of life rushing over with their disciples. What were they after? It was the law of heaven and earth that was very suitable for people to comprehend. It was even compatible with the transformation of a human body. This was because everything was new. This was very important for people's future awakening. The law of heaven and earth of a powerful ancient planet was relatively mature. It was far from being a newly born law of heaven and earth and was easier to comprehend. Especially for the residents of Earth, who were born and raised on Earth, the effect would be even stronger. Not to mention that part of the power of the Great Path brought back by the true dragon would flow into Su Yan's body. His physique was being burned to the extreme, and it was about to shatter. Su Yan had a pained expression. He was about to be torn apart by the power of the Great Path. Luckily, his mortal body was strong enough. He gritted his teeth and forcefully withstood the nomological powers in his body. But as he persisted, the nomological powers in his body seeped into Su Yan's limbs and bones. Su Yan raised his head and roared. His long black hair danced in the wind. Under the nourishment of the laws of heaven and earth, a layer of terrifying shackles seemed to have been torn apart. Beginning sutra, refine it for me. Su Yan roared, his eyes red. The current initial sutra seemed to be able to rob away all Tao energy. Buzz. His body was like a furnace, seizing the fortune of heaven and earth. This was more in line with the true meaning of the initial sutra. Under the nourishment of the majestic power of the Great Path, Su Yan's body could be seen to have broken through a shackle. The power of 10,000 horses soared rapidly and continuously strengthened. What was this? This was Su Yan's body. After forcefully breaking through the second shackle, it could be said that his body was equivalent to stepping into the life spring realm. His chi and blood were much stronger. His entire body exuded an aura that could tear apart the heavens and the seas. Su Yan was at his peak, filled with a courageous power. He used his most domineering stance and risked everything to attack the door of the life spring. Open for me, Su Yan roared. The true dragon became much stronger, and its power was shocking. Under the guidance of the primordial spirit, it vaguely crashed into the eye of the life spring hidden in the depths of chaos. Kacha! The crisp sound was like the sound of firecrackers during the new year. Su Yan was so excited that his eyes filled with tears. He had succeeded in opening the eye of the life spring. Ha ha ha! Su Yan laughed. He was indescribably excited. Following which, the life spring that he had forcefully opened began to emit an aura of disaster. As it was opened, it was about to shatter. Not good. Su Yan's smile disappeared. He was so anxious that he almost jumped up. He could faintly feel that the life spring was about to be destroyed. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Su Yan thought frantically. Finally, he thought of Bamboo Moon. He quickly took out a white jade cauldron and threw out the Xianhuang mother gas. This Xianhuang mother gas was purple in color. It was as if the purple chi had come from the east. In an instant, it drilled into Su Yan's life spring. It was also at this moment that Su Yan's life spring, which was about to collapse, began to surge under the nourishment of the Xianhuang mother gas. Boom! His life spring had absorbed the power of the Xianhuang mother gas. It forcefully increased by a large amount. The cultivation of the life spring required continuous opening. The life spring could store the divine energy of the heavens and earth. Now, Su Yin finally saw the value of the Xianwang Mother Gas. Its starting point was higher than a person's. Under the nourishment of the Xianhuang Mother Gas, Su Yan's life spring became several times stronger. Hurry up and absorb the Origin Essence Stones. There was not much energy left in the Origin Essence Stones. When the Primal Sutra was activated, Su Yan's life spring had turned into a furnace. As he breathed, the Origin Essence Stones in the 12th layer rapidly converged into Su Yan's life spring. His life spring grew rapidly. As if he had swallowed a great tonic, it began to soar at a terrifying speed. Su Yan's aura also began to surge. His entire body was so bright that it was like a burning furnace. The Origin Essence Stones converged into his body, nourishing his divine soul, body, and life spring. This was the most complete form of cultivation. As he absorbed, countless Origin Essence Stones were digested by Su Yin. His dried-up life spring was replenished and rapidly strengthened. Su Yan's second awakening lasted for 9 days and 9 nights. His entire body shone with a golden brilliance, as if he was a god. From inside to outside, he emitted a powerful aura. As his meridians moved and the Primal Sutra was activated, his life spring and body erupted at the same time. Su Yan's aura became even stronger. Every move he made was filled with a tyrannical power that caused the vacuum to explode. Boom! He cultivated for an entire night. On this day, Su Yan's aura strengthened once again. His life spring had surpassed the first heavenly layer and directly soared to the second heavenly layer. It even soared to the peak of the second heavenly layer. His aura became even more turbulent from inside to outside. Once it erupted, the sky was filled with golden waves. I've reached the peak of the second heavenly layer of the life spring realm. I'm almost at the third heavenly layer. Su Yin climbed up excitedly. When he saw the powder on the ground, the corner of his mouth twitched. That was a total of 3,000 Origin Essence Stones. Now, Su Yin had used them all. Bamboo Moon, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to open the door to the life spring. After all, there are 3,000 Origin Essence Stones. Where am I going to find them? Su Yin clenched his fists. Waves of energy were constantly surging in his body. It was very powerful. Once he awakened, his life spring and physical strength would surge. He would be able to erupt with extremely powerful combat strength. Compared to 10 days ago, he was several times more powerful. My physical body has also improved. My potential has been awakened again. Su Yin frowned. Logically speaking, it should have been difficult for his physical body to make a breakthrough. However, this breakthrough in his physical body had made Su Yan's strength extremely abnormal. Something's not right. Su Yin realized that the dragon totem had changed. It was many times more powerful than before. He could clearly feel that the aura of a real dragon was very shocking. How did the dragon totem become so powerful? Could it have left? Su Yin scratched his head. He was somewhat puzzled. But with the dragon totem becoming stronger, wouldn't its ability to search for treasures in the future be even more abnormal? Let's try and see if I can control the Tower of Trials. Su Yan's mind sank into the Tower of Trials. He could now feel the power of the Tower of Trials. For some reason, Su Yin felt as if he was looking at an endless sea. Su Yin couldn't help but smile bitterly. Right now, he couldn't control the Tower of Trials. He was still too weak. Anyway, the treasures are here. Others can't take them away. Also, this blood spear is very powerful. I can't use it right now. Its aura is too fierce. Su Yin thought for a while. Then, he took the Emerald Phoenix hairpin in his hand. He opened the space within and threw the blood spear inside. He raised his head and looked at the starry sky. Then, he hid the hairpin in his hair and left the Tower of Trials. This time, he had been in seclusion for too long. He estimated that he had been in seclusion for more than a year. After coming out, Su Yin felt as if he had seen the light of day again. The world had changed. He could feel the power of the laws of heaven and earth in this space. Even his essence had more than doubled. Su Yin was in a daze. The second great change on earth had ended. Look, the moment Su Yin came out of the Tower of Trials, the people nearby were all stunned. The news of Su Yan's possible death had long spread. He had been in the Tower of Trials for too long. But now, this person who was suspected to be dead had actually come out of the Tower of Trials alive. How is this possible? The people nearby were in an uproar. Su Yan had actually come out. He was now ranked first on the Hidden Dragon list. Su Yan, an incredulous voice sounded. Jing Yonghui was in disbelief. Su Yan had actually come out alive. Su Yan looked at Jing Yonghui. With his primordial spirit, he could see through it. Jing Yonghui had stepped into the 7th level of the Life Spring realm. After the second great change on Earth, basically all the cultivators had broken through a bottleneck. Some of them were even more powerful than before. What's the matter? Su Yan asked. Hearing this, Jing Yonghui looked at Su Yan with uncertain eyes. He squeezed out a smile and asked, Su Yan, have you considered the matter? Eldest senior brother wants to see you. I don't have time now. Let's talk about it when I'm done. Su Yan wanted to share this good news with teacher Yi Yuan as soon as possible. Jing Yonghui's expression turned ugly when he saw Su Yan leave. He stared at Su Yan's back and said in a sinister voice, Su Yan, just you wait. You'll see. Very soon, I'll make you kneel in front of eldest senior brother. It's the first of the month. Please give me some monthly votes. Chapter 73. Su Yan has come out of the Tower of Trials. This news spread throughout the entire Huaxia University. All the students who heard of it were dumbfounded. Su Yan was the top student in the Hidden Dragon ranking. He had even stayed in the Tower of Trials for more than a year. Now that he had come out alive, this news caused a huge uproar. Su Yan is the trash and genius who couldn't open his life springs. That's right, it's him. Even the heavens are jealous of him. Such a terrifying genius with such shocking perception couldn't open his life springs. This is unbelievable. Su Yan is the student of a martial god. Who would have thought that Su Yan couldn't open his life springs? His title as the top student in the Hidden Dragon ranking doesn't live up to his name. The students were discussing this. Some of the teachers knew about this and sighed. With Su Yan's perception, if he could enter the Life Springs realm, his future would be extraordinary. They weren't sure if Su Yan had opened his life springs in the past year. Su Yan had already returned to his residence. Because he had been in the Tower of Trials and was the top student in the Hidden Dragon ranking, his residence seemed to have been forgotten. The students could only watch helplessly as he entered the treasure cave. When he entered, Su Yan could feel waves after waves of powerful energy waves. Fatty! Su Yan was overjoyed. He looked at the fatty who was sitting cross-legged in the treasure cave. At this moment, the fatty was extremely shocking. The bloodline in his body had awakened for the second time, causing his body to be filled with the potential of a giant dragon. What a powerful bloodline! Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. The laws of heaven and earth had entered Fatty's body when the world was undergoing a huge change, allowing his bloodline to welcome the second awakening period. The fatty guessed that his bloodline had the potential to grow into a giant. He was still in deep seclusion. Su Yan closed the door of the living room and took out his communicator to contact the Yi Yuan. Why isn't the teacher picking up? Su Yan frowned. He dialed the number again and again, but he couldn't reach his teacher. At this moment, his communicator rang. It was Elder Liang. After Su Yan picked up, Elder Liang's nervous voice came through. Su Yan, you've reached the 12th floor. Did you pass? Su Yan hesitated for a moment before saying, Yes, but the process of clearing the level has to be kept a secret according to the rules of the Tower of Trials. You actually passed. Let me ask you, did you open your life spring? Elder Liang's voice was filled with excitement. It's activated. Su Yan smiled. I'm contacting my teacher to tell him the good news. After a moment of silence on the other side of the communicator, old Liang sucked in a breath of cold air and said, Wait for me at the residence. I'll be right there. There are some things that I need to explain to you. Su Yan hung up the communicator. Soon, Elder Liang arrived. He walked in and laughed. Su Yan, congratulations. You finally opened your life spring. I've been worried sick. Thank you, Elder Liang. By the way, did anything happen recently? Su Yin asked. Sit down and tell me. Elder Liang was silent for a moment before he said, The great changes on Earth have just ended. First of all, the overall strength of the Huaxia Alliance has increased, especially the awakened ones. According to preliminary estimates, there are at least 2 million awakened ones a few days ago. Oh my God, 2 million. Su Yan's eyes were wide open. The great changes on Earth had benefited the entire human race. The training environment has also changed. The current environment is more suitable for training. You can't contact your elder, the dean, the martial god, and the others. Elder Liang told him everything that had happened recently. Now, the dean and the 3 vice deans were not around. They had all gone to base number 9. Due to the great changes on Earth, Xia Zhe and the others might be in seclusion at base number 9 for a while. Moreover, the expedition in the wilderness of base number 9 had begun again. However, it was not as intense as before. Even the teachers were injured. 9 dragon veins have appeared in base number 9. Su Yan's expression changed. He quickly asked, Elder Liang, did Zhu Yan come out? Hearing this, Elder Liang shook his head. He was also puzzled. If Zhu Yan had come out, the Huaxia Alliance would not have suffered such a great loss. After all, Zhu Yan had the strength to kill the Monster King. As for Xia Zhe and the others, they had not made any progress in the past few decades. Therefore, they were on par with the Monster King. For a moment, the Huaxia Alliance was at a disadvantage. Fortunately, the great changes on Earth have begun. Otherwise, the losses would have been even greater. Many Life Spring Realm disciples of our Huaxia College went to the 9th base, and many of them died. The losses were great. I don't know what happened, but this time, the beasts attacked the dragon vein of the 9th base like crazy. Elder Liang's words made Su Yin nervous. He said, On go to base number 9. By the way, Elder Liang, I need a weapon. Elder Liang sighed. He was in a difficult position. Su Yin frowned and said, Elder Liang, I have passed the 12th level. I have more than 1 million contribution points, more than 100 origin essence stones, and ancient treasures as rewards. Su Yin, that's all I want to say. Elder Liang said, before the dean and the martial god left, they told me that if you passed the level, you would be rewarded more. But did you realize that Jing Yang Hui and the others did not go? Elder Liang's words made Su Yan's face turn cold. He recalled the conversation with Jiang Wuhan. They had been thinking of ways to take the resources of the college. However, when the Huaxia Alliance was in trouble, they did not do anything. This was too much. These youths can't wait for the older generation to suffer great losses. Just now, the manager of the treasury told me that Su Yan's rewards will be given when the dean returns. They will even ask for instructions from the higher-ups. They will say that Su Yan did not open his life fountain. They want to strip you of all your rewards and your ranking in the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. Elder Liang said angrily, they don't want to give it to you. The manager of the treasury has the same status as me. However, Jiang Wuhan has already pulled him over. Bastard. Su Yan's eyes turned cold. Did Elder Liang really think that he could be bullied so easily? Ding ding. Su Yan's communicator rang again. Elder Liang sneered and said, I bet that it's Jiang Wuhan. He must be trying to pull you over. Although he doesn't know that you have opened your life fountain, he must be very interested in what you have gained in the Tower of Trials. Su Yin opened the unknown communicator. Su Yin, the authoritative voice exploded. Come to my residence immediately. My teacher might be coming to Huaxia University soon. Your results in the Tower of Trials might have moved my teacher. He might even help you open your life fountain. Our Huaxia Alliance will have another genius. Su Yan's face turned cold. If someone else heard this, they would probably run over. Just the name Zhu Yan was enough. Is there anything else? Su Yin asked in return. There is also the Golden Crow Cauldron. This item is extraordinary. You have gained quite a lot of contribution points from this challenge. Give me a portion of it. After all, my teacher won't help you for free. I will give you a portion of the contribution points. This Golden Crow Cauldron will be a gift to my teacher. No problem. I have been preparing a gift for Zhu Yan. As for the contribution points, I am sorry. I still have use for them. Su Yin hung up the communicator. On the other side of the communicator, Jiang Wuhin's face turned gloomy. Su Yin had actually replied in such a way. He even dared to call Zhu Yin by his name. What gift did you prepare for Zhu Yin? Elder Liang was confused. You'll find out in the future. Elder Liang, I'm going to the treasury to see what kind of person the person in charge of the treasury is. Su Yan's words made Elder Liang frown. Su Yin, don't go against him now. I think you should wait for the dean to contact me first. Elder Liang, time waits for no one. I don't know what will happen next, but my teacher and the others are all in the wilderness of Base 9. As a member of the Huaxia Alliance, I can't just sit here like a coward. Su Yan's words jolted Elder Liang. He stood up abruptly and said, All right, I will go with you. I also want to see what they are up to. Are they trying to rebel? They are disobeying the dean's arrangements. Su Yin wasn't the only one. The rest of the students were also complaining about the lack of resources. Recently, Elder Liang had suspected that the manager of the treasury had secretly embezzled a lot of resources. Did they think that Xia Zhe and the others wouldn't be able to come back alive? Huaxia University's treasury was a very important place. It was built at the foot of the dean's palace. This place was heavily guarded. The treasury was where Huaxia University stored its vast amount of resources. How could outsiders enter and leave as they pleased? Elder Liang naturally had the right to enter and leave as he pleased. He brought Su Yin to their destination. It was a majestic hall that had been excavated from ancient ruins. Even a beast king would have a hard time destroying this hall. The door of the main hall was open. Su Yin saw an old man sitting in the middle of the main hall at a glance. Although he was over 50 years old, he was full of energy. He was wearing a purple robe and looked very luxurious. Elder Liang, why are you here? Tao Jiangrong was displeased. He was the manager of the treasury after all. Ever since the dean and the others had left, Tao Jiangrong had been in charge of all the resources in the school. Tao Jiangrong, Su Yin is here. According to the dean's instructions, I am here to take away the things that the dean left for Su Yin. Elder Liang suppressed the anger in his heart and went straight to the point. Su Yin is here. Tao Jiangrong's face darkened. He was Tao Tianhua's grandfather. He had long heard that Su Yin was going against Tao Tianhua. Tao Jiangrong smiled sinisterly. He didn't even look at Su Yin. He said angrily, Who let him in? The treasury is an important place. How can an outsider be allowed to trespass? Tao Jiangrong. Su Yin is a core disciple of the school and a student of the martial god. What right does he have to not be here? Elder Liang was furious. Elder Liang, you're confused. How can an outsider be allowed to trespass into the treasury? Men, take Su Yin down. Who gave him the courage to trespass into the treasury? Tao Jiangrong's voice was sharp. His cultivation was also very strong. His whole body emitted a fierce aura. He waved his hand and pointed at Su Yin. Take him down. Su Yin, you're really audacious. How dare you barge into the treasury? Jing Yanghui laughed sinisterly. He, Tang Yingjia, and Jing Yangyu rushed over. They looked at Su Yin with mocking eyes. That was related to hundreds of thousands of contribution points. Su Yin wanted to take it away? How could that be possible? Erupting azure sky, calculated. It needs to be on the 3rd of the month. I'm starting to write now. It should be around 7 chapters. It can't be compared to before. It used to be 10 chapters. Chapter 74. What's going on? There seems to be a commotion in the treasury. What's going on? The treasury had always attracted people's attention. It was heavily guarded, but now it was filled with murderous intent. Many of the guards had drawn their swords and looked like they were about to use force. Elder Liang's expression changed. He pointed at Tao Jiangrong and said angrily, Tao Jiangrong, do you know what you're doing? You dare to use force against Su Yin? Are you trying to rebel? Elder Liang's expression changed. He felt that something was wrong. Tao Jiangrong didn't seem to care about such a huge commotion in Huaxia University's treasury. What did this mean? It meant that Tao Jiangrong and the others were starting to ignore the rules of the school. Could it be that the second great change on Earth would lead to a great change in the Huaxia Alliance? Su Yan's heart was burning with anger. He was about to explode. He was angry. He looked at Jing Yanghui and then at Tao Jiangrong. A murderous aura emerged from his body. Not only did they want to embezzle the reward the dean left for him, but they also wanted to attack him. Su Yan guessed that they wanted to find out the secret of the Tower of Trials. Su Yan's back was covered in cold sweat. Luckily, he had gone to the Tower of Trials. If it had been someone with a vicious heart, he would have been in big trouble. After all, Bamboo Moon's injuries were too serious. With her beauty and status, Su Yan didn't dare to imagine what would have happened next. Rebel. Tao Jiangrong didn't care. He laughed coldly and said, "Old Liang, what nonsense are you talking about? Su Yan dared to trespass into the treasury without my orders. This is too serious a crime. Old Liang, this has nothing to do with you. Leave now and don't get yourself into trouble." Tao Jiangrong, you dare to distort the truth in front of me? Elder Liang's heart was burning with anger. However, he quickly calmed down and said to Su Yan, "Let's go. The dean will give you justice." "You want to leave?" Tao Jiangrong's expression was cold. His sinister voice spread throughout Huaxia University. "Su Yan, you trespassed into the treasury. You can't escape punishment. Men, take him down." "What? Su Yan trespassed into the treasury? That shouldn't be the case. Su Yan is the disciple of the martial god and a gold student. Why would Tao Jiangrong dare to capture him?" "Yeah, Su Yan is the #1 student on the Hidden Dragon rank. Capture him?" The surrounding students were dumbfounded. This matter was a little serious. Once it was spread out, the impact would be very bad. Su Yan's expression became more and more serious. Tao Jiangrong and the others were so unscrupulous in attacking him. It was very likely that a lot of terrible things would happen during this great change on Earth. Jiang Wuhin and the others claimed to be part of the younger generation, and they had always been at odds with the seniors of the academy. Would they really forcefully make a move? Grasping power. Let's see who dares to move. Elder Liang was furious. His cold eyes swept across the restless guards in all directions. These guards really didn't dare to move for a moment. After all, Su Yan had the martial god behind him. "I say, Elder Liang, you're already so old. Don't blindly interfere here." Jing Yonghui laughed and said, "Su Yan can't escape punishment. He's a good-for-nothing. Is it worth it for you to protect him like this?" "Rebel, you're all rebelling." Elder Liang was extremely angry. Su Yan smiled. He looked at Jing Yonghui and sneered. "Jing Yonghui, don't talk nonsense here. You want to attack me? Sure, come." Su Yan strode forward. He wanted to see if Jiang Wuhin would stand out. If he really did, it would mean that Zhu Yan's ambition was too great. This scene caused old Liang's heart to tremble. Su Yan actually walked out? Then what means did he have to dare to go against Jing Yonghui? Jing Yonghui was currently at the 7th layer of the Life Spring realm. Su Yan's fearless appearance made Jing Yonghui's pupils shrink. He couldn't grasp Su Yan's current situation. No one knew his exact strength. Even if Su Yan hadn't opened his life spring, he had received the true teachings of the martial god. It wouldn't be easy to deal with him. "What's wrong, Jing Yonghui? Why aren't you saying anything?" Su Yan stood at the front, his long black hair draped over his shoulders. He shouted angrily, "Why aren't you loyal to your master? Come, let me see what you, Jing Yonghui, have to be so arrogant." "Su Yan, how dare you? I, Jing Yonghui, am not afraid of you." Jing Yonghui was enraged. However, at this moment, Tung Yingjie suddenly stood out. A year ago, Tung Yingjie had suffered a crushing defeat. This year, he had been very low-key. His essence, qi, and spirit had changed slightly. His body was filled with the sound of rolling thunder, and he had the demeanor of an expert. "Since you don't dare to come, why are you farting so much?" Su Yan reprimanded loudly. Su Yan, Tung Yingjie, who was ignored by Su Yan, slowly became gloomy. He stared at Su Yan, and a faint murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He said coldly, "You think you're worthy of fighting with Jing Yonghui? I'd rather fight with you. You're nothing, a loser." Su Yan cast a sidelong glance at Tung Yingjie and shouted impolitely, "Get out of my way." The crowd was in an uproar. Everyone was dumbfounded. Tung Yingjie was now at the 5th level of the Life Spring realm. Even an ordinary expert at the 6th level of the Life Spring realm would find it difficult to deal with him. He had the thunder body, a very special treasure body. His future was limitless. You bastard, I'm going to kill you. Tung Yingjia's expression changed drastically. He was extremely furious. He jumped up and pounced at Su Yin. He released his aura to the maximum. Bolts of lightning burst out from his body, and for a moment, silver light shot out in all directions. It was as if thousands of lightning snakes were gushing out from his body. How terrifying! Tung Yingjia is about to reach the 6th level of the Life Spring realm. His cultivation speed is too fast. The crowd was in an uproar. Tung Yingjia's power was too strong. Tung Yingjia pounced at Su Yin without holding back. Today, Tung Yingjia wanted to avenge his previous humiliation and ruthlessly defeat Su Yin. Boom! The sky was filled with lightning snakes. Following Tung Yingjia's outburst, thousands of lightning snakes tore through the sky and gathered in his palm. He viciously chopped at Su Yan's head. Su Yan strode towards Jing Yonghui. Jing Yonghui's expression was extremely ugly. Tung Yingjia was even more furious. Su Yan didn't take him seriously at all. Old Liang stared at Su Yan expectantly. He wanted to see how strong Su Yan was now. When Tung Yingjia's palm was close to Su Yan, thousands of lightning bolts exploded. They shattered the vacuum and were about to drown Su Yan. Quick look! The surrounding disciples all turned pale. They only saw Su Yan suddenly raise his palm. Without even turning his head or looking at him, his palm directly bombarded the sky, full of lightning snakes that Tung Yingjia had struck. This palm seemed calm. In fact, when it was close to the thousands of lightning snakes, it seemed to have turned into a huge golden palm. It was surrounded by a resplendent blood chi light beam. Bam! The lightning snakes that filled the sky exploded. They were forcefully shattered by Su Yan's palm. The energy fluctuations that seeped out of his palm instantly hit Tung Yingjia's body. Tung Yingjia, who had soared into the air, trembled all over. His entire body was cracked by Su Yan's explosive aura. The bones in his body cracked one by one. Tung Yingjia coughed out a mouthful of blood. He flew out violently and smashed into the ground. The mud layer collapsed and blood flowed out of his body. Hiss! Everyone present sucked in a cold breath. They were all dumbfounded. This was Tung Yingjia, who was hailed as the most outstanding genius in recent years. But now, he had been sent flying by Su Yin with a single slap. How is this possible? Jing Yangyu was trembling all over. Even if there were 2 Jing Yangyus, they would not be a match for Tung Yingjia. How could Su Yin be so strong? Under the gazes of everyone, Su Yin strode towards Jing Yonghui. His hair was dancing in the wind, and his clothes were flapping. His entire body was filled with a powerful martial aura that was about to soar into the sky. Old Liang clenched his fists in excitement. Su Yin was completely different. His combat strength was definitely at the 6th heavenly layer, or even more domineering. Jing Yonghui, are you waiting for me to make my move? Su Yin had already closed in on Jing Yonghui. He said coldly, if you are afraid, you 2 brothers can come at me together. I don't mind exchanging blows with you 2 brothers. The surrounding people were shocked. This was too domineering. Jing Yonghui was an expert at the 7th heavenly layer of the Life Spring realm. Su Yin estimated that with his current combat strength, he could barely deal with someone at the 8th heavenly layer. Be *starred. Jing Yonghui clenched his fists so tightly that they cracked. Because of his fury, his entire body was emitting flames of fury. His face was so ferocious that it was almost distorted. He stared at Su Yin and roared, I, Jing Yonghui, am not afraid of you. Su Yin watched carefully. Buzz. Jing Yonghui's aura was completely restored. His entire body was emitting waves of powerful energy, like a ferocious beast awakening. However, before he could fully recover, Su Yin had already madly charged over. He was as fast as lightning, like a bolt of lightning tearing through the sky. You are too slow. You are wasting my time. Su Yin soared into the sky. His essence, chi, and spirit were completely different. He was like a grandmaster of martial arts. As his spine rose and fell, his life spring and divine energy were restored at the same time. He was like a real dragon that wanted him to soar into the sky. The dragon-shaped beam of light pierced through the sky, collapsing the clouds in the sky. Su Yan's aura was extremely powerful. His entire body was rippling with golden light. His fists soared like lightning, and the dragon-shaped beam of light was boiling. Impossible! Jing Yonghui roared uncontrollably. He felt suffocated and was on the verge of exploding. He forced out all of his aura and assumed a defensive stance. However, Su Yan's strength was too domineering. This punch came down from the sky, causing the ground to tremble. The mud layer cracked, and large cracks appeared one after another. Under the petrified gaze of the surrounding crowd, Jing Yonghui's defensive light shield was shattered by Su Yan's punch. Even the wind created by his fist bombarded Jing Yonghui, causing him to sink into the mud. Plop! Jing Yongyu fell to the ground and scrambled away. Everyone was dumbfounded. Tao Jiangrong pointed at Su Yan, his finger trembling. "Hand it over." Su Yan's eyes looked at Tao Jiangrong. He stretched out his hand and said in an unquestionable tone, "Su Yan, you are audacious. You beat up a student of the academy. Your crime is unforgivable." Tao Jiangrong stood up. His face was flushed red from anger. His purple robes flapped loudly, and the powerful aura in his body began to leak out. "Old bastard, I'll beat you to death." Su Yan madly rushed over. His entire aura was even more ferocious. He stood at his peak and was like a golden war god. A huge dragon-shaped pillar that pierced through the heavens drilled out of his back and broke out of his body. It carried a terrifying might as it furiously charged towards Tao Jiangrong. A true dragon soared into the sky, terrifying to the extreme. Brothers, 3 chapters a day isn't a small amount. A total of 10,000 words. It takes me about 3 hours to write, half an hour to edit, and an hour to write. I have to stop for a while to think before I can write a chapter. It takes me about 6 hours to finish 3 chapters a day. If it's long, it'll take me 10 hours. If I'm stuck, I won't be able to do anything for a day. For example, when I met Bamboo Moon in the training tower, I wrote for 2 days and wrote 3 versions. The last version was barely passable, but I didn't have enough time, so I had to upload it. I didn't dare to stop updating for fear of being scolded by you. Also, I really didn't use much stock. You can calculate the number of words. If you make me write 20,000 words a day, I'll have to go to the hospital in a month. Most importantly, I write very slowly at night. It's mainly because of my poor eyesight. When I write at night, I have to close one eye. Chapter 75. Oh my God! The onlookers trembled in fear and disbelief. Su Yan dared to attack Tao Jiangrong. Tao Jiangrong's identity aside, he was Tao Tianhua's grandfather. Few people dared to attack him. Tao Tianhua was a renowned Tier 2 alchemist. Coupled with the great changes on Earth this time, he had already stepped into the peak Tier 9 realm. If he took another step forward, he would be a top-notch expert. His future was limitless. But now, Su Yan was attacking Tao Jiangrong. Great! Elder Liang laughed heartily as he witnessed the rise of Su Yan. Tao Tianhua was awesome, but could he be as awesome as Martial God Yuan? This time, Tao Jiangrong was trying his best to get Su Yan's contribution points. He had to attack when necessary. Roar! The dragon-shaped pillar emitted waves of ferocious aura, rippling with bright light as it shot into the sky. He was pushed by Su Yan and charged furiously towards Tao Jiangrong. His entire body also swooped down and charged furiously towards Tao Jiangrong along with the huge dragon-shaped pillar. Tao Jiangrong was almost blown away by the strong wind from the dragon-shaped pillar. He almost couldn't open his eyes. But Su Yan's aura, his fury, and his killing intent, this shocked and angered Tao Jiangrong. Who was he? He was the manager of the treasury, and now he could do whatever he wanted in Huaxia University. But Su Yan dared to attack him. "You want a rebel?" Tao Jiangrong roared to the sky. His life springs were completely unsealed. Thousands of waves of divine energy rushed out and turned into a raging sea. After all, he was at the level 8 heaven life springs and was only 1 step away from the level 9. Little bastard, Let's see how long you can be so arrogant. How dare you attack me again? Tao Jiangrong channeled all his energy and pushed his arms forward. With an earth-shattering power, he tried to devour Su Yin. What was this? This was considered a minor magical power. It was a martial art technique unearthed from ancient ruins. It could channel all the energy in one's body and transform it into earth-shattering power to attack a strong enemy. Look, the spectating disciples discussed excitedly. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the two sources of power that were about to collide. The dragon-shaped pillar was created by the martial god Yuan. The earth-shattering minor divine abilities and secret arts unearthed from ancient ruins. The moment the two types of divine powers collided, the surging shockwaves of energy swept across the entire mountain range, causing a huge earthquake. Countless ancient trees rustled and rustled, creating a boundless mess of leaves and strong winds. Boom! Their intense collisions and surging divine power bombarded each other again and again, threatening to overturn a mountain. Little bastard, you can't! Tao Jiangrong roared and unleashed all of his strength, unleashing a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas. He wanted to destroy the dragon-shaped pillar directly. Roar! Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were filled with killing intent. His spine continued to rise and fall. As the initial scripture was activated, the power of a life spring gushed out and merged with Su Yan's body. Su Yan's body became even more radiant. His pupils were vertical, and divine light shot out from his body. All of his strength was awakened and pierced through the dragon-shaped pillar. At this moment, Su Yin roared into the sky. The power of his primordial spirit also pierced through the dragon's head. The dragon's head roared and released a monstrous golden wave that shattered the true dragon. Kill! Su Yin unleashed all of his strength to his strongest state, unleashing the strongest source of power to transform the dragon-shaped pillar. At this moment, it was as if an ocean had been swallowed by the true dragon, and a huge mountain had been destroyed by the dragon's tail. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the earth-shattering power that filled the sky completely exploded following the awakening of Su Yan's strength. Roar! Su Yin swung the dragon-shaped pillar and smashed it down on Tao Jiangrong. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. His skin and flesh were lacerated, and he was about to be smashed into a pulp by the dragon-shaped pillar. Powerful, shocking. The onlookers were dumbfounded. Their scalps tingled as they were shocked by this scene. They saw Su Yin raise the true dragon, wanting to smash Tao Jiangrong to death. You little beast, you're bullying me. Tao Jiangrong let out a hysterical roar. A killing sword flew out from his sleeves. It was blood red, as if it was dyed in a layer of blood. Be careful. Old Liang's complexion changed. This was a great killing weapon that came from the ancient ruins. This blood-red killing sword, under Tao Jiangrong's strength, suddenly erupted with a blood-red sword light. It was dazzling and bright, enough to split apart a mountain. No matter how strong Su Yan's strength was, when faced with the supreme treasure of the ancient ruins, the dragon-shaped pillar, it was still split in half. I'm going to kill you. Tao Jiangrong grasped the blood-red sword and madly rushed toward Su Yin. Wherever the sword light pointed, everything vanished. Unable to withstand the attack of the killing sword, the onlookers felt as if their bodies were about to split apart, as if they would explode along with the blood-red killing sword. Be careful! The surrounding disciples couldn't help but cry out in alarm. They felt that this sword would kill Su Yin. Kill him, kill him! Jing Yonghui, who had crawled out from the mud with great difficulty, roared out. His eyes were filled with a ferocious killing intent. He wanted nothing more than for Su Yin to fall here and now. This sword was infinitely close to Su Yan's. Tao Jiangrong's eyes were filled with killing intent. But when he saw Su Yin smiling at him, his complexion changed. Just as his feet landed on the ground, and he was about to wave his killing sword to kill Su Yin, countless array formations suddenly appeared. As soon as Tao Jiangrong appeared on the ground, countless formation scars appeared. As soon as Tao Jiangrong appeared, the formation scars seemed to awaken with lightning speed. They exploded with power, causing the terrain to tremble and transform into a deadly layout of heaven and earth. No! Tao Jiangrong's eyes were filled with fear. His entire body was wrapped up by the power of the terrain, as if his entire body would be torn apart. The surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? Why was Tao Jiangrong suddenly trapped? They didn't see Su Yin make a move. Tao Jiangrong let out a painful roar. The terrain intertwined, evolving into a killing formation. Countless wind blades slashed out from the cracks in the ground, causing Tao Jiangrong's body to be torn apart. He crazily waved the killing sword in his hand, hacking away at the power of the terrain. Su Yin also carefully observed. He realized that his control of the terrain was enough to kill an 8th-level Heaven Fate Spring Cultivator. Of course, his current terrain was something he had just imitated. It wasn't particularly strong, and he didn't have the strength to kill Tao Jiangrong. Su Yin had already placed his focus on the cultivation of the mystic arts. Once he mastered it, he would be able to kill strong enemies above his level. When Tao Jiangrong broke through the terrain, he was so tired that he almost collapsed to the ground. His entire body was covered in cold sweat. He had almost been killed here. Fortunately, his treasure was powerful enough. Just as Tao Jiangrong raised his head, what greeted him was a foot that ruthlessly kicked his face. Tao Jiangrong was sent flying by Su Yan's kick. His old face caved in, and even his teeth were broken. Su Yan, you little bastard. Tao Jiangrong's entire body was trembling. He was in so much pain that he wanted to die, but it couldn't compare to the humiliation in his heart. He had been kicked by Su Yan. Old man, don't think that I won't dare to kill you. Su Yan came in front of him and looked down at Tao Jiangrong from above. He said coldly, now, immediately, take out the thing that the dean gave me, or I'll send you to hell. Tao Jiangrong trembled. He felt fear in his heart. He sensed Su Yan's killing intent, and he didn't doubt that Su Yan would really kill him. Boom! At that moment, the entire Huaxia University was rippling with divine power. When a beam of light shot into the sky, it was so bright that people couldn't even open their eyes. It was as if an ancient beast had come into being, carrying with it the power to burn mountains and boil seas. It swooped down like lightning towards the treasury area. Its eldest senior brother. There was an uproar. Jiang Wuhan had arrived. He came to the door of the treasury in a peerless manner. He was wearing a golden robe, and his entire body was emitting a ferocious aura that could dominate the world. Jiang Wuhan looked down at Su Yin and shouted coldly, Su Yin, you have offended your superior. Your crime is unpardonable. You should be imprisoned in the Hall of Penal Law. Boom! The vacuum was burned to the point of collapse. Jiang Wuhan's palm exploded with a monstrous divine light. He condescendingly attacked Su Yin. This palm was so terrifying that an ancient golden crow appeared behind Jiang Wuhan's back. It was bathed in the sun's divine fire and looked down at Su Yin coldly. Jiang Wuhan, what right do you have to capture Su Yin? Elder Liang was furious, but he couldn't move at all. His entire body was locked down by Jiang Wuhan's power. This palm was not just meant to suppress Su Yin. The power contained in it was enough to seriously injure Su Yin. You asked for it. Chapter 76. Jiang Wuhan had an awe-inspiring look. He was the pride of the entire Huaxiao Alliance and Zhu Yan's disciple. He enjoyed a high status in the academy. At this moment, Jiang Wuhan was looking down at Su Yin like a high and mighty emperor, judging Su Yin. This palm was even more terrifying. Golden divine light shone in all directions, and the shadow of the immemorial golden crow appeared. It could easily burn a mountain, and just like that, it began to suppress Su Yin. The surrounding people held their breaths and didn't dare to talk. With Jiang Wuhan's strength, he could definitely suppress Su Yin. Moreover, Su Yin had just fought with Hua Jiangrong. Everyone could see that Su Yin could at most contend with someone in the 8th level of the Life Spring realm. Right now, Although Su Yin could fight someone a higher level than him, Su Yin had to cross 6 levels, especially the 9th level, which could be considered a major level. Once he stepped into this level, the divine power in his body would undergo an earth-shattering change, surpassing the combat power of an 8th level life spring realm by 1 or 2 times. Jiang Wuhan's eyes were cold. He found that Su Yin was very calm, so calm that he had an ominous feeling. Could it be that Su Yin still had the strength to contend with him? After I suppress him, I'll take a good look at what secrets he has. The array marks he just created should be the mystic art of array. He must have gotten it from the trial tower. Even Master doesn't understand the mystic art of array. Moreover, his strength has increased so quickly. It must have something to do with the trial tower. Jiang Wuhan's aura quietly blazed up. At this moment, Su Yan's eyes were burning with anger. His primordial spirit moved the blood spear. It was also at this moment. Su Yan frowned slightly. An aura that was not inferior to Jiang Wuhan's pierced through like lightning. It was like a beam of light that could pierce through the sky. It appeared in front of Su Yan and blocked Jiang Wuhan's power. The art of primordial chaos. Su Yan was surprised. This was the art of primordial chaos at the 9th level. There were only a few people who could cultivate this art and reach the 9th level. Who is it? Jiang Wuhan's countenance sank. This strand of primordial chaos unity energy had blocked his attack. When he looked over, his countenance turned even uglier. Everyone was in an uproar. It was a woman who walked over. She wore a long black dress and had a graceful figure. There was a hint of nobility on her beautiful face. Su Yan was surprised. He had met this woman before in the underground trade union. Su Yan had not forgotten that she had invited him to the underground trade union. Seong had also been there. That was the first time Su Yan had visited the underground trade union's base in the wilderness. Eldest senior sister is here. Many of the older students were excited. Their burning eyes stared at the black-dressed woman. She was Yu Yiling, the proud daughter of the Huaxia Alliance. In Huaxia University, she was on par with Jiang Wuhan. Yu Yiling's status was not simple. Her grandfather was one of the top 10 powerhouses of the Huaxia Alliance, Yuan Hong. Yuan Hong, Xia Zhe, Yuan. Yuan Hong was one of the founders of the underground trade union. Yu Yiling's status did not need to be mentioned. If she wanted money, she had it. If she wanted people, she had it. She was known as the proud daughter of the Huaxia Alliance. She had countless pursuers. Jiang Wuhan was naturally one of them. However, Yu Yiling was still alone. Now that she had stood out and even blocked his attack, Jiang Wuhan felt as if he couldn't find a way out of this embarrassing situation. Yu Yiling, what are you doing? Jiang Wuhan's eyes were filled with anger. His eyes scanned Yu Yiling. His heart was filled with a strong desire to possess her. He hoped that his teacher would quickly become strong. When that time came, she would not be able to resist. Jiang Wuhan, you have some guts. Yu Yiling's clothes fluttered in the wind. She was full of vigor as she walked towards the treasury. The surrounding crowd automatically parted to make a path for her. Yu Yiling's elegant sword. Although she was a woman, she had a natural noble air about her. She looked majestic. What are you talking about? Jiang Wuhan's face was extremely ugly. Once Yu Yiling interfered, it would be difficult to suppress Su Yan. The experts of the Huaxia Alliance are fighting a bloody battle in the wilderness of the 9th base. As the eldest senior brother of Huaxia University, it's fine if you don't go. But you actually have the mood to fight amongst yourselves. Now you want to suppress Su Yan. What are you trying to do? Yu Yiling angrily rebuked. Others call you eldest senior brother. Do you think you deserve it? The surrounding students were silent. Yu Yiling's words made their expressions complicated. The Jiang Wuhan they admired had not entered the battlefield to help the Huaxia Alliance overcome this crisis. After all, with Jiang Wuhan's cultivation, he was able to kill a Beast King. He was even able to risk his life to kill a top-tier Beast King. But Jiang Wuhan did not enter the battlefield. They were very disappointed. 90% of the entire school's disciples had also entered the battlefield to fight. You dare criticize me? Jiang Wuhan's body glowed with golden light. He angrily shouted, "My business is not something you can meddle in. Yu Yiling, Aren't your hands too far? Also, Su Yin offended his superiors and attacked the steward. You should be disciplined. That's right. Su Yan's crimes are unforgivable. I will report this to the dean and expel him from the school. Tao Jiangrong's hair was disheveled. His entire body was covered in blood. He pointed at Su Yin and roared. He even dared to hit me. He really rebelled. Tao Jiangrong. Yu Yiling's eyes flashed with coldness. She stared at him and coldly shouted, do you think that with the dean and the 3 vice deans gone, you can hide the truth from Huaxia University? Everything that has happened in the school, the dean and the others are well aware. I will now remove you from your position. The treasury will be handed over to Elder Liang. What? That's impossible. Yu Yiling, stop spreading rumors here. Tao Jiangrong's expression changed. He looked at Jiang Wuhan for help. Jiang Wuhan also angrily said, Yu Yiling, do you think you're the dean? What qualifications do you have to talk about Tao Jiangrong? Don't cause trouble here. I'm sorry, but the dean asked me to return from the battlefield. He asked me, Yu Yiling, to represent him and punish Tao Jiangrong for his corruption. In Yu Yiling's hand, a golden token floated out. This scene caused the entire audience to stir. This was the dean's identity token. Yu Yiling didn't have the guts to imitate the dean's token. You are slandering me. Tao Jiangrong was about to explode with anger. Tao Jiangrong, if you were greedy for the resources given to the students, then so be it. Yu Yiling angrily said. But you actually have the guts to be greedy for the life-saving resources given to the students who are fighting a bloody battle. Your guts really can cover the heavens. The surrounding students exploded. Some of them were furious because their resources were indeed small. But in front of Tao Jiangrong, they didn't dare to say anything. But when they heard that Tao Jiangrong was going against his conscience and greedy for these resources, their eyes turned red. This was going too far. You are slandering me. I want to see the dean. Tao Jiangrong roared to the heavens. Men, seize him for me and detain him in the disciplinary hall. As Yu Yiling's words fell, the people behind him were about to rush forward. Su Yan's figure flashed, and he appeared in front of Yu Yiling. He angrily shouted, You old bastard, you cruel and unscrupulous thing. I already knew that you weren't a good person. Now that I've found out, I want to see how you will continue to quibble. Su Yan, you dare? Tao Jiangrong anxiously stared at Jiang Wuhan. In the next moment, he let out a roar like a pig being slaughtered. Su Yan's slap was too heavy, directly crushing his shoulder. Tao Jiangrong almost fainted. Su Yan stopped. Jiang Wuhan was enraged. The group of experts behind him began to stir, wanting to kill their way over. Men come. Yu Yiling's aura surged. The group of experts behind him instantly drew their killing swords. The two sides faced each other. Jiang Wuhan and Yu Yiling, these two great experts, were about to erupt. Su Yin carried the half-dead Tao Jiangrong and stood on Yu Yiling's side. Jiang Wuhan, calm down. The dean has given the order. There should be evidence. A teacher quickly came to mediate. The dean isn't here right now. He can't punish Tao Jiangrong. I think when the dean returns, he will thoroughly investigate this matter and give Tao Jiangrong justice. Jiang Wuhan's face was gloomy. Once he made a move, he would be making an enemy of the dean. After all, Yu Yiling held the dean's token. Jiang Wuhan didn't have the guts to go against Xia Zhe. If a conflict were to occur at this time, Xia Zhe would definitely calm the internal strife first. At that time, it would definitely ruin the teacher's plan. Let's go. Jiang Wuhan could only swallow his anger. He glared fiercely at Su Yin before leading his men and disappearing from this place. Old bastard, I want to see how you die when the time comes. Su Yin fiercely glared at the half-dead Tao Jiangrong. His hand was exerting force. Tao Jiangrong let out a painful howl. He was about to be crushed to death by Su Yin. Everyone, take a look at this corrupt person. Su Yin picked Tao Jiangrong up and angrily said to the people around him, This old bastard, he embezzled our resources and even embezzled the resources of the soldiers who bled on the battlefield. This is simply unforgivable. Su Yin threw Tao Jiangrong into the crowd. The crowd was in chaos. Sounds like pigs being slaughtered rang out one after another. Some people fiercely kicked and kicked. That's enough. Don't beat him to death. Yu Yiling took a deep breath and said to the students in the crowd, Men, lock him up in the Hall of Punishment. No one is allowed to interrogate him. When the dean arrives, he'll be dealt with. Ayo, wait for me. The fat man was like a mountain of meat. He rushed over with large strides. He carried a large spoon and ruthlessly smashed it on Tao Jiangrong's head. He angrily said, No wonder I was injured. I waited for the resources of the academy, but couldn't wait. So it was all because of your greed. This strength was too great. Tao Jiangrong immediately fainted. Yu Yiling's face twitched, but the smile in her eyes went a bit. Serve him right. The students here all revered Tao Tianhua. But towards this kind of corrupt person, no one sympathized with him. Serves him right. Like this, Tao Jiangrong was dragged away. Thank you, senior sister, for your help. Su Yin solemnly walked over and thanked her. Old friend, no need to be polite. I also came at the right time. Yu Yiling's eyes looked at Su Yin. She lightly smiled and said, But your strength really exceeded my expectations. Then I still have to thank senior sister. Su Yin smiled. All right, Su Yin, I still have many things to do. When I'm done, I'll find you to talk about it. Yu Yiling then said to Elder Liang, Elder Liang, I'll leave the matter of the treasury to you. The dean has reformulated the reward plan. You should have seen it already. These people left one after another. The big fatty excitedly ran up and rubbed his fat hands and said, Su Yin, I didn't think that you would be so strong now. Ha ha, this fat brother isn't bad either. I also didn't think that my bloodline would awaken again. I even obtained many inheritances. While Su Yin and the fatty were chatting, Elder Liang walked up and said, Long story short, I'm afraid that things will change if we delay. Fatty, you killed the enemy with divine bravery. The academy will reward you with an ancient treasure. Su Yin, you can go with him. You two can go to the treasury together and personally choose. Su Yin's eyes lit up. The dragon totem could be considered to be useful. In the academy's treasury, there must be many good things. That's right, Elder Liang. How many contribution points do I have? Su Yin asked. A lot. So much that this old man doesn't dare to believe it. The Tower of Trials is fine, but it's more than 1,000,000 points. You're also ranked among the gold disciples. The amount of contribution points you have is enough to make one's hair stand on end. There's one more thing. Since you've stepped into the life spring stage, the academy won't give you any more draconic chi. You should know that in the entire Huaxia University, there are only 2 draconic chi. This kind of resource will not be given to you for cultivation. Of course, the amount of contribution points you have is more than 300,000. Altogether, it's already more than 2 million. Elder Liang said, and then said seriously, Su Yin, don't choose too many treasures. Our Huaxia University doesn't have many treasures. You're also a great expert now. Sometimes you have to learn to share the burden of the academy. Although you're still young, I think you can understand. I understand, Elder Liang. Su Yin nodded. He felt that there was an invisible burden on his shoulders. He was very clear that the academy's dean often selflessly took out treasures and placed them in the treasury. Their contributions to Huaxia University were too great. Chapter 77. Within the treasury hall, there were several secret treasure vaults. Each treasure vault required a special key to open. These were Huaxia University's major treasure vaults. Even Tao Jiangrong would not be able to easily open these vaults. He would need the keys of several managers. Soon, Elder Liang opened the door to the treasure vault and said, You guys go in and pick your treasures. Don't waste too much time. The fatty beamed with joy. He had been eyeing ancient treasures for a long time. With the current Huaxia Alliance's blacksmiths, they could at most refine some low-grade treasures. Therefore, all the powerful treasures in the Huaxia Alliance came from ancient ruins. Su Yin entered. In this sturdy secret room, there are all kinds of treasures on the shelves. There are more than 200 treasures here. Su Yin looked around and was pleasantly surprised. Some of the powerful treasures were emitting divine light on their own. They could come out at any time and explode with great power. Su Yin picked up a dragon-patterned greatsword. The aura in his body flowed into the greatsword. The ancient sword was instantly awakened. It emitted waves of resplendent sword light that could easily cut through the sky. Suyin, look at this treasure. This should be a supreme-grade treasure. The fatty was excited. He held a heavy bronze broadsword in his fat hand. Under the fatty's control, the broadsword emitted even more energy. Faintly, an extremely powerful divine power gushed out. This bronze broadsword seemed to have a spirit. Suyin realized that its amplification was even more powerful. Supreme-grade treasure? Suyin was stunned. Usually, supreme-grade weapons can be considered treasures. Most of the blacksmiths in the Huaxiao Alliance can only refine the lowest-grade treasures. Above that are mid-grade treasures. The treasure that Tao Jiangrong, that son of 8B *TSH, has just now should be a high-grade treasure. The fatty said excitedly. Extreme-grade artifacts are extremely powerful. Even top-tier beast kings are wary of them. Look at the entire treasury. There are about 10 items at the level of extreme-grade artifacts. You can see how precious they are. Hee, this saber is not bad. It costs 280,000 contribution points. I can get it with my contribution points. It took me more than a year to save up. Plus the contribution points I made in the 9th base this time, I can barely get an extreme-grade artifact. 200,000 contribution points were already a lot. After all, the fatty had stepped into the 6th grade life spring realm a year ago. Now he was at the 7th grade life spring realm. Don't rush. Suyin smiled and asked, what's above the treasures? It's a divine weapon. Hearing that, the fat man's eyes lit up and he said, what a powerful treasure. This is a divine weapon. There are no more than 100 divine weapons in the Huaxiao Alliance. Do you know the principal's Heaven Stabilizer Bell? Rumor has it that it's the most powerful divine weapon. Divine weapons are found in ancient ruins. The reason why divine weapons are so powerful is because they are engraved with special engravings. Ancient warriors engraved special engravings on divine weapons so that they can explode with great power at critical moments. Suyin was dumbfounded. He wondered what level of treasure the trial tower was. He felt that the trial tower was even more powerful than the Heaven Stabilizer Bell. Divine weapons and divine weapons are the most powerful war resources in the Huaxiao Alliance. Suyin squinted his eyes and walked over. He raised his hand and pushed open a small door inside the secret chamber. The fatty was envious. He quickly put down the broadsword in his hand and followed Suyin in. The door was very heavy. Suyin used all his strength to push it open. The secret chamber that had been opened was filled with an oppressive aura. It was as if giant monsters were lurking inside, and the energy waves they emitted made him and the fat man's hearts tighten. Suyin, look, it's a divine weapon, a divine weapon. The fatty lost control, and his eyes lit up. There were only 3 treasures in the entire treasury. One of them was a cauldron that was golden in color. The cauldron was engraved with a vivid image of a golden crow. Once the cauldron's power was unleashed, the golden crow would unleash a special spell. Suyin clenched his fist. This was the golden crow cauldron, the one that even Zhang Wuhan coveted. The second divine weapon was special. It was a purple mirror that was surrounded by a brilliant purple light. It was called the Purple Light Mirror and was worth 800,000 contribution points. It was said that once the Purple Light Mirror was unleashed, even the Beast Kings couldn't withstand it. However, the minimum requirement to use it was to be at the 9th level of Life Spring Realm. When he saw the third divine weapon, Suyin's heart heated up. It was a completely black rod that seemed to be forged from black iron. Its entire body emitted a cold metallic luster and contained waves of suffocating qi activity. Suyin's pupils shrank. This staff looked very heavy. The fatty stretched out his hand and tried to pick up the black staff. However, he realized that it was too heavy. It was difficult for him to swing it with his strength. Let me. Suyin walked over and placed his hand on the staff. He lifted it up in an instant. The strength of the iron staff shocked him. Even he found it difficult to lift it. Even with Suyin's physical strength, it was difficult for him to lift it. The fatty was stunned. How strong was Suyin? Suyin, why don't you want the golden crow cauldron? You have enough contribution points now. The Golden Crow Cauldron is definitely the strongest among these divine weapons. In the future, Jiang Wuhin will definitely choose it. Don't let him take advantage of it. The fatty hurriedly said, "Look at this iron staff. The description says that it's extraordinarily strong. However, it's only a supreme grade artifact. Because it's too strong, it's placed in this treasury." The black iron staff was only worth 390,000 contribution points. It couldn't be compared to the Golden Crow Cauldron. Although I want the Golden Crow Cauldron, I still want to buy other things. Moreover, 1,000,000 contribution points? How can Jiang Wuhin gather that much? Su Yin shook his head. He hesitated for a moment before saying, "I prefer staff-shaped weapons. Moreover, everyone can only choose one item from this treasury." Su Yin also knew that with his life spring, it was impossible for him to use the Golden Crow Cauldron. It was too difficult. His physical body was his advantage in close combat. When the time came, he would be able to strike down with his black iron staff. That strength would be terrifying. Moreover, the dragon totem was guiding Su Yin. Although the temperature wasn't high, the black iron staff wasn't as simple as it looked. "Up to you. I think I'll take the bronze broadsword." Before the fatty could finish, Su Yin shook his head and said, "Don't be hasty. Let's see if there's anything good in the other treasury." Su Yin and the fatty came to the second treasury. It was filled with all kinds of treasures and weapons. Most of them were made by modern people. Su Yan's pupil shrank. The dragon totem was guiding Su Yan. There were even 3 flashes of heat. One of them was so hot that Su Yan's arm was about to shatter. His eyes were filled with shock. He suppressed the ecstasy in his heart. There must be a peerless treasure in the treasury. Its value was unimaginable. After all, this was the first time the dragon totem had such a high temperature. What kind of treasure was this? Su Yin took a deep breath and looked around. He saw that the first thing the dragon totem was guiding him was a mace. It was huge and emitted a cold metallic glow. "Fatty, did you notice that this mace is a little special?" Su Yin asked. The fatty stared at the mace for a while and shook his head. "Su Yin, I can't see anything special about this thing." "Why? Is there something else?" Su Yan's frontal bone glowed. The essence spirit within it was awakened and radiated golden light. The fatty's heart trembled. Su Yan's soul was too strong. It was very likely that he had awakened the essence spirit. Under the observation of Su Yan's essence spirit, it penetrated the surface of the mace and went straight to the depths. Motherf asterisk cur. Su Yan's face twitched. He cursed. It's not like it was forged by some heartless refiner. Now it's helping us. Fatty, choose him. There's something inside. Su Yan laughed and said, "There's a stone mace sealed inside." This refiner must have not realized the power of the stone mace when he was making the treasure. He just smeared a layer of, or liquid to fool it. Although this forgery skill is not bad, it was still discovered by me. Stone mace. The fatty scratched his head. He looked at the price and gritted his teeth. "All right, I'll give it a try. Let's see how powerful the weapon sealed inside is. If it really doesn't work, I'll come back and exchange." Su Yan only smiled and did not say anything. This stone mace was definitely more precious than the bronze broadsword. Su Yan continued to walk inside. There were many things in this treasury. It was too difficult to pick out a dusty treasure. Soon, the dragon totem guided Su Yan and found the second good thing. The fatty also excitedly inspected the old stones and said, "Su Yan, these are all raw stones. Many bold students will gamble on them. Do you want to play and give it a try? The price is not expensive. You might be able to pull out a top-grade jade." Back then, someone took out a rare and sold it for a very high price. Su Yan's palm grabbed an old stone that was not in good condition and was full of holes. The fatty looked at the stone and was speechless. "This thing doesn't look like a good one. It's better to choose this piece of pure gold. You might be able to dig out something good from it. Let's gamble and just buy one. This is too expensive. It's not worth it." "That's true." Su Yan continued to stroll around the treasury. The treasure that made the dragon totem emit an extremely hot temperature was in the deepest part of the treasury. Soon, Su Yan found a pile of colorful small stones. 5 colored stone, a rare ore. There were hundreds of 5-colored stones. They were not big, but the one that the dragon totem guided Su Yin was like a small 5-color ball. It was about the size of a glass ball. This is it. Su Yin randomly grabbed a handful. He was pleasantly surprised. What kind of treasure was this 5-colored stone? It could actually make the dragon totem emit such a terrifying temperature? The fatty did not dare to spend a single coin. He was worried that the treasure in the mace was too weak. After leaving the treasury, old Liang was already waiting for him at the door. He solemnly took out a bag and handed it to Su Yin. There were 150 origin essence stones and a jar of ancient true blood worth 100,000 contribution points. Old Liang, I want an elemental spirit pill. What? Old Liang's heart trembled. This was a peak 3rd grade pill, the most precious pill in the academy. Even Vice Principal Lu Qingtian could only refine 1 or 2 in a year. But its price was a terrifying 500,000 contribution points per pill. But the elemental spirit pill was only effective for the primordial spirit. What shocked him was that Su Yin had actually awakened a primordial spirit. In the entire Huaxia University, there were too few people who could awaken a primordial spirit. There were even 9th stage life springs cultivators who could not awaken a primordial spirit. Old Liang did not ask any further. The things that Su Yin chose this time cost him almost 1,000,000 contribution points. Old Liang quickly brought the items over and said, Su Yin, the war at the 9th base hasn't started yet. But Yu Yiling said that in less than a month, there will be another war. When the time comes, you have to go to the 9th base to avoid gossip. After all, you are the disciple of the martial god. I know. Yu Yiling should also go. When the time comes, I will go with them. Su Yin nodded. The current battle of the 9th base was not intense. Experts at the level of Xia Zhe were all in seclusion. Even the various archfiend kings were in seclusion. As for Zhu Yin, after the great changes to the earth, he had become even more powerful. Chapter 78. Su Yin returned to his residence and sat down cross-legged. He took out the origin stone and the 5-colored stone. Su Yin wasn't in a hurry to inspect the 2 treasures. He poured out the contents of the pouch that old Liang had given him. 150 origin essence stones and a jar of ancient true blood. Let's nurture the source seed first. Su Yin took a deep breath. His primordial spirit carried the source seed and floated in the air. The golden source seed was surrounded by dazzling golden clouds. It had the aura of life, and even Su Yin felt a connection with it. The source seed landed on an origin essence stone and started to absorb the origin essence stone's energy. During the absorption process, the source seed's aura started to strengthen. Su Yin used his primordial spirit to observe the changes within the source seed. He discovered that there was a space within the source seed. The moment it absorbed the origin essence stone, the law of heaven and earth started to form in the space within the source seed. Su Yin was amazed. The source seed was too mystical. Its value must be astonishing. Furthermore, the source seed absorbed the origin essence stones at an extremely fast speed. One by one, the source seed absorbed the origin essence stones. Su Yin felt the pinch. It had only evolved to a grade 1 origin brush. However, the source seed should have consumed more than 100 origin essence stones. He felt that the resources used to nurture the origin brush in the future would definitely be a huge fortune. Su Yan's primordial spirit glowed as he stared at the changes within the source seed. The process of its evolution was mysterious but easy to understand. It was evolving the law of heaven and earth to construct a technique. It started from the shallow to the deep, which gave Su Yin great inspiration. However, the evolution of the source seed is like the second great change on Earth. It's too mystical. Su Yin didn't even dare to blink as he continued to observe. After 3 hours, the source seed had absorbed 100 origin essence stones. It slowly changed as the law of heaven and earth within it was formed. The source seed also grew and turned into a golden origin brush. Its entire body was interwoven with the law of heaven and earth, as if it was an origin brush that could communicate with the power of heaven and earth. Su Yin slowly digested what he had learned. It had given him a lot of inspiration, and it had even given him a lot of enlightenment regarding the natural laws of heaven and earth. At the same time, Su Yan's understanding of the occult arts had also deepened. After a night, Su Yan opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with a mysterious aura. His gaze landed on the Genesis brush. Sure enough, drawing formation marks with a Genesis brush was much faster and easier. What a miraculous treasure. Every time it awakens, it will evolve a deeper layer of the laws of the world, which will help my cultivation. Just like Bamboo Moon said, the Genesis brush will accompany me for the rest of my life. Su Yan laughed heartily. The value of this source seed was definitely very precious. Once it matured in the future, it would be incredible. Although he had paid a huge price, Su Yan felt that it was worth it. He stored the Genesis brush in his knowledge. At this moment, his primordial spirit was also hugging the elemental spirit pill. The soybean-sized primordial spirit opened its mouth and ate the elemental spirit pill. The elemental spirit pill was a peak grade 3 pill. The medicinal energy it contained was very gentle. Su Yan's soybean-sized primordial spirit could be seen with the naked eye. After eating the elemental spirit pill, its body slowly grew and the soul chi within it rapidly increased. The contribution points were not spent in vain. Lu Qingtian is indeed the strongest alchemist in our Huaxia University. Su Yan closed his eyes. While his primordial spirit was refining the elemental spirit pill, he took out the bottle of primordial true blood. When he opened the bottle, a torrential scarlet mist gushed out. The vigorous blood essence undulations were about to pierce through the heavens. Su Yan raised his head and drank it. He was clear that a catastrophe was brewing. His life spring cultivation could not continue to advance by leaps and bounds. Therefore, there was only one way, and that was to strengthen his physical body. After the physical body awakening, as long as there were enough resources, it could rapidly strengthen the life spring. During the last great change on Earth, Su Yan's physical body was torn apart for the second time. The potential that was awakened was even stronger. His physical body's foundation was deep, and the speed of his improvement was extremely fast. This bottle of primordial true blood turned into surging godly energy, nourishing Su Yan's flesh shell. Under the nourishment of the primordial true blood, his blood and bones also began to rapidly strengthen. Su Yan's strength continued to climb. The heaven and earth furnace has been completed. The next stage is to cultivate the golden body furnace. This is a bit more difficult. Cultivating the golden body requires a furnace of golden body elixir. The golden body elixir requires all kinds of great medicines. I have never heard of them before. Only by cultivating the golden body furnace can my physical body be strong enough. Only then can my physical body withstand the power of the sun, moon, and stars. Let's not worry about that for now. My physical body still has a lot of room for improvement. When it is strong enough, coupled with the power of my life spring, I should be able to fight against a 9th-stage life spring expert. Su Yan also took out the remaining source essence stones. He opened his life spring and absorbed the source essence stone's power. He discovered that his life spring was very big. This should be the effect of the Xianhuang source chi. However, the speed of improvement was relatively slow. In the room, the golden light was dazzling. Su Yan circulated the initial scripture to cultivate. A night passed. Su Yan frowned. The strength of the primordial true blood didn't seem to increase his physical body strength by much. This made him feel helpless. It was very likely that his physical body's potential was too strong, and ordinary primordial true blood couldn't satisfy it. As his chest rose and fell, layer after layer of source essence chi was guided by him, gathering in his physical body and life spring. Su Yan's strength was increasing. These were source essence stones, and dozens of them were already a huge fortune. With the help of the source essence stones, Su Yan's cultivation increased very quickly. A day and a night passed. Su Yan's Yuan spirit had been restored. His originally bean-sized Yuan spirit was now as big as a glass ball. Su Yan couldn't help but sigh. The elemental soul pill was extremely powerful. The stronger his yuan spirit was, the more powerful his deduction ability would be. But to cultivate a yuan spirit to the same size as him was far too difficult. It would take a very long time. Let's see how strong the Big Dipper fist is. Suyin solemnly took out a jade slip. After opening it, his yuan spirit escaped into it. It was as if he had broken into a vast starry sky. The ancient stars in the sky rumbled and rotated, filling the air with waves of energy that rushed into the starry sky. What a terrifying supernatural ability! Su Yan's yuan spirit violently trembled. He almost couldn't withstand it. He saw a terrifying existence standing in the starry sky, its palm forming a fist seal. Its entire fist was like an ancient star that could shatter the firmament of the universe. The moment it erupted, divine light flooded the heavens, shattering the heavens. Wavering light fist. This fist was tyrannical in the starry sky. The divine light was like a sea. The moment it radiated, it shattered the stars in the universe. Su Yan's scalp tingled. This was the Big Dipper fist, and it was only the first fist. The Big Dipper fist had a total of 7 minor supernatural abilities. When these 7 minor supernatural abilities were cultivated to the peak and combined together, it would become the major supernatural ability, the Big Dipper fist. Su Yan's yuan spirit withdrew from the jade slip. He closed his eyes and began to deduce the wavering light fist. The power of this supernatural ability could shock the heavens and earth. Once mastered, it was enough to erupt with heaven-piercing strength. Even the Big Dipper fist required an extremely terrifying foundation of the mortal body to cultivate. Su Yan just happened to satisfy this requirement. After 3 days and 3 nights, Su Yan's life springs violently trembled. A layer of shackles had been opened, and he had stepped into a small realm. He had stepped into the 3rd heavenly layer of a life spring realm. His flesh shell shined brightly. His blood vitality had become much more vigorous, making him even more terrifying. Su Yan awoke from his deduction. He looked at the remaining 20 origin essence stones, and his face darkened. He had consumed them too quickly. If he continued cultivating, there wouldn't be many origin essence stones left. Su Yan placed the remaining origin essence stones into the phoenix hairpin. His gaze fell on the 5-colored stone and the origin essence stones. I hope the things inside won't disappoint me. Su Yan held the origin essence stone that was full of holes. He exerted force in his palm, cracking the origin essence stone's skin. A stone that was as red as a blood diamond appeared in his hand. Su Yan sucked in a breath of cold air. This fist-sized stone contained a terrifying amount of blood essence. Su Yan could even faintly sense that within the stone, there was a faint phantom of a divine phoenix. Could it be that this is the blood essence of an ancient variant? There might even be a portion of the divine phoenix's bloodline. Su Yan excitedly laughed. He had picked up a treasure. The value of this thing was immeasurable. Even 10 jars of ancient true blood wouldn't be enough to exchange for it. This was something he urgently needed. This is one of the main materials for refining golden body fluid. However, it's extremely fast. I can absorb a portion of it to increase my strength. This stone can be called a type of divine metal. It can even be used to refine divine weapons. Su Yan didn't hesitate. The calamity was approaching. Increasing his strength was the most important thing. As for what this 5-colored stone was, Su Yan couldn't find any clues no matter how he studied it. Just what sort of treasure was this? Could it be some sort of rare, immortal material? He scratched his head and put away the 5-colored stone for the time being. Following this, Su Yan grasped the blood-red stone in his hand. As he revolved the initiation sutra, the stone awakened. The divine metal within flowed out in reverse. The dormant divine phoenix phantom within seemed to be about to awaken. One after another, the blood-red divine metal sprinkled down. One had to admit that it was terrifying. Su Yan's body rumbled under the nourishment of the divine metal. His aura increased at lightning speed. With each passing day, Su Yan's physical strength increased by a bit. After 3 whole days, his body faintly turned a pale gold. His body was evolving towards a golden body. Su Yan's body was filled with explosive power. Once awakened, the blood in his body surged. Faintly, two true dragons leapt out from his spine. He was excited. His physical body had improved too much. In addition, his life spring had reached the third heavenly layer. His combat strength had increased by so much. The next time he faced Jiang Wuhan, he wouldn't be so weak. Ding ding, his communicator rang. Su Yan glanced at it. Seeing that it was Elder Liang, he immediately picked it up. Su Yan, gather immediately. Yu Yiling and the others are about to set off. Okay, I'll be right there. Su Yan stopped cultivating and retracted his aura. He pushed open the door and walked out. He saw the fatty with a big smile on his face. He was carrying a stone mace and waiting for him. Haha, Su Yan, you have a good eye. The treasure I picked is too strong. The fatty excitedly walked up and said, I didn't expect to pick up such a great treasure. The refiner really doesn't have a good eye. The value of this treasure is many times higher than a supreme grade weapon. When Su Yan was about to speak, he and the fatty turned their heads at the same time. They saw that within Huaxia University, there were waves of aura that could collapse mountains. What was this? It was a huge battleship. It was filled with an ancient aura. It was unknown how long it had been there. Its entire body was covered with dense and mysterious array marks. Su Yan could tell at a glance that this was a great killing array. Once awakened, it would trigger an extremely terrifying energy source. It was equivalent to a giant beast. Huaxia number 1. The fatty was stunned. This was Huaxia University's battleship, Huaxia number 1. However, the battleship's body was covered with cracks. It was clear that the battleship was damaged, but the degree of damage was not serious. This was also Huaxia University's treasure. Follow me. Liu Peng's entire body reeked of blood. He opened the battleship's door and beckoned to the people of Huaxia University. Su Yan and the others quickly rushed over. Yu Yiling and the others were also here. They all rushed into the battleship. Inside this huge battleship were experts from various large bases. They were all going to the battlefield together. The atmosphere inside was very quiet. They were about to arrive at the battlefield. Whether or not they could return alive was still a problem. Su Yan, come here. Yu Yiling transmitted to Su Yan. He walked over. Under the envious gazes of all around, he sat down beside Yu Yiling. Su Yan, let me ask you, what is your relationship with the dean of the Ice Snow Academy? Yu Yiling suspiciously looked at Su Yan. His words shook Su Yan's heart. He transmitted, you know the dean of the Ice Snow Academy. Chapter 79. Su Yan's heart tightened. This was what he wanted to know. How did the principal of the Ice Snow Academy find him? Where was he during these 100 years? What exactly happened on Mount Everest back then? He thought that as long as he could find the principal of the Ice Snow Academy, he would be able to find out everything. I've seen her before. Yu Yiling looked at Su Yan and said, she is also one of the founders of the Underground Merchant Union. What? Do you know where the principal of the Ice Snow Academy is? Su Yan was shocked. He didn't expect the female Shura to have such an identity. The Underground Merchant Union had great influence in the Huaxia Alliance. Although I've seen the female Shura, she has been very mysterious these past few years. She always comes and goes without a trace. It's very difficult for me to contact her. Yu Yiling was silent for a while, and then said, but there is news of the female Shura recently. She is in the 9th base. She is in the 9th base. Su Yan clenched his fist. He was very nervous. He was about to meet the principal of the Ice Snow Academy. But whether you can find her or not depends on your luck. Yu Yiling reminded, the 9th base is very chaotic right now. All the major powers are fighting among themselves. The casualties are very heavy. I wish you good luck. Su Yan took a deep breath. He hoped that the answer he got was not too bad. Yu Yiling's face was very serious. Blood was already seen. It was very obvious how serious the internal conflict was. China number 1 went to a few more places. The battle at the 9th base would not end in a short time. The fight for the 9 dragon veins was not just about the threat of wild beasts. The major powers would not give up the dragon veins so easily. Huaxia number 1 had already accommodated more than 3,000 people. Su Yin only realized how fast it was when it charged towards the ninth base. Wang. The whole of China number 1 was awakened. It was filled with spatial fluctuations. It seemed like it was traveling through space. Its speed was very fast. It was like a bolt of lightning. China number 1 is so big. It will probably cost a lot of source stones to recover its energy and travel. Su Yin thought to himself, such a powerful battleship must be very valuable. Although some factions have battleships, they can't compare to Huaxia number 1. It's said that this battleship can withstand the attacks of demon kings. This place is not far from base number 9. Now, the Huaxia University has sent out Huaxia number 1. It's a kind of deterrence. Nothing can be accomplished without rules and standards. If Earth doesn't have strong people to intimidate them, I'm afraid there will be bloodshed every day. When that time comes, the world will definitely be in chaos. The appearance of the 9 dragon veins had broken the peace. After all, they had grasped the resources and might be able to ascend to the universe in the future. The structure of the god and devil civilization was too terrifying, and it was difficult to guess how the Earth would evolve in the future. In just half an hour, Huaxia number 1 had arrived above base 9. Countless residents of base number 9 were looking at Huaxia base number 1 with fanatical eyes. Waves of terrifying energy waves spread out from it, as if a gigantic monster was lying there, making the entire base 9 feel like it was going to collapse along with Huaxia base 1. Huaxia number 1, the strongest battleship in the Huaxia Alliance. It's also the exclusive property of Huaxia University. I wonder when I can sit in Huaxia number 1? Those who can sit in there are all extraordinary people. The lowest level of cultivation is the life spring realm. The door of Huaxia number 1 opened, and groups of young students walked out. Of course, the most eye-catching one was Yu Yiling, a master of the 9th level of the life spring realm. One more step, and she would be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the top 10 masters of the Huaxia Alliance. Look, the person beside Yu Yiling, it's Su Yin. Su Yin, haha, I see him. He's the number 1 genius of base number 9. It's said that he's the top genius of Huaxia University's hidden dragon ranking. He couldn't open his life spring realm, but a few days ago, Su Yin defeated Jing Yonghui and even beat up Tao Jiangrong. That's right, that's Tao Jiangrong. He's now imprisoned in Huaxia University's Hall of Punishments. It's said that Su Yin captured him personally. That's awesome, ha ha. Many fanatical eyes were looking at Su Yin. Su Yin was now a legend in base number 9. Some of the Genius Awakeners had set Su Yin as their goal and were rushing towards him. The sound of discussion could be heard everywhere. Some of the teachers in Huaxia University praised Su Yin. Even Jing Yonghui was defeated by him. He had even opened his life spring realm and was the disciple of the Einer Jar. His future was limitless. Base number 9 was now filled with the smell of blood. The previous battle was too fierce. A large number of people died every day. It was as if time had returned to a few decades ago. As soon as he arrived at base number 9, Su Yin's primordial spirit trembled. His eyes fell on the wasteland in all directions. He could clearly feel that there were waves of extremely terrifying airflow in these houses. Vaguely, the rules of heaven and earth were manifesting. There is no doubt that Xia Zhe and the others were trying to break through, including some of the Monster Kings. Therefore, it was a temporary period of peace. It was also because the Beast Kings had been restless for the past 2 days. They were about to launch an attack and attack the city. Teacher should be here. Su Yin sensed a familiar aura. He looked at an area in the distance and sensed that Yi Yuan's aura was extremely strong. You guys rest here. I will assign you teams. The Huaxia Alliance has been fighting with the Dire Beasts for hundreds of years. Remember, once you fight with the Dire Beasts, you must stay alive. Lu Peng was tall and burly. He said coldly, now is not the time for you to risk your lives. This war is going to be a long one. No matter what, you must survive on the battlefield. Only then will you be qualified to become strong in the future. The wilderness was still peaceful. Su Yin left quietly. He went to the Ice Snow Academy to see if Tang Yi was there. Su Yin found LV Anshan. LV Anshan didn't even dare to breathe. He hurriedly said, Su Yin, Tang, you left a long time ago. He's not in the academy now. I will see if I can help you contact him. Wait here for a while. Okay. Su Yin sat in the vice president's office. He closed his eyes and deduced the Alcade fist. He wanted to master this minor skill as soon as possible. Su Yin didn't expect that he would wait for 3 days. LV Anshan came in and handed the communicator to Su Yin. He closed the door and walked out. Su Yin, an old voice came. I don't have much time. Keep it short. No matter what happens later, you must remember to protect yourself. Senior Tang, where are you? Su Yin's expression changed slightly. He could faintly hear the sound of a battle. He quickly said, tell me the location. I will go there immediately. Remember, don't come. Tang, roared. His communicator seemed to have exploded. Damn it. What the hell is going on? Su Yin suddenly stood up. His expression was very ugly. He paced around the room. He felt that what happened to Tang, was related to him. Rumble. At that moment, Su Yin heard a deafening sound. It came from the depths of the wilderness. Waves of terrifying auras seeped out. The mountains and valleys resounded with the roar of a beast. It was as if the sky was going to be split open. The ninth base was in an uproar. Something big must have happened in the wilderness. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so chaotic. Su Yin quickly rushed out. He estimated that he was about 15 kilometers away from the ninth base. A powerful energy storm erupted there. It wasn't the dragon vein. It was sweeping in all directions. Impossible, someone screamed. When he saw the contents of the communicator, his expression changed drastically. His hand trembled, and the communicator almost fell to the ground. He wasn't the only one. Many old experts with high status received the same message, including many teachers from Huaxia University. Su Yin walked over. When he saw the contents of Fan Hong's communicator, his expression changed. I am Zhu Yin. I have a heart-wrenching news for everyone. The female Shura, one of the top 10 experts in the Huaxia Alliance, has betrayed us. She has joined the Monster Kings. According to my understanding, the female Shura wants to open the tomb of the first emperor of all time, Emperor Qin Shi Huang. However, there is only one condition to open it, and that is to have enough fresh blood. The female Shura and the Monster Kings have joined forces and launched wave after wave of beasts to overturn the ninth base. The source of this rebellion is the female Shura. Now, I announce that if you can kill the female Shura, I, Zhu Yin, am willing to give you 3 divine weapons. One by one, the messages were sent to the entire Huaxia Alliance in no time. The entire Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar. It was as if an earthquake had occurred. The female Shura is a traitor? She wants to open the tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang? Unbelievable. Zhu Yin wouldn't lie to us. If it weren't for Zhu Yin, the Huaxia Alliance wouldn't have entered a period of peace. God of War Zhu Yin said that if we can kill the female Shura, he is willing to give us 3 divine weapons. How is that possible? How could the female Shura be a traitor? I don't believe it. The entire Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar, causing a huge commotion. Zhu Yan's words alone were enough to shake the entire Huaxia Alliance. However, when it came to the female Shura, some old experts didn't believe Zhu Yan's words. This was the tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Divine weapons. What kind of treasures were there in the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang? Zhu Yan's reward was 3 divine weapons. It was not a small number. Impossible. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. Although he had never seen the female Shura, he knew Tang Yi. How could Tang Yi be a traitor? He had just spoken to him. Su Yan's mad dash towards the gate startled the passers-by. Some people understood that the female Shura was the dean of the Frost Academy. Tang Yi had said that Su Yin was groomed by him. Once the female Shura's crime was confirmed, Su Yin would not be able to get away with it. Brother, wait for me. The fat man ran after him. He didn't care about the female Shura, but he believed in Su Yin. Su Yin would never betray them. It must be fake. It's impossible. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His speed was terrifying. He rushed towards the gate of the ninth base. But the gate was suddenly closed. Yuan Zhongqi walked out majestically, pointed at Su Yin, and yelled, Su Yin, stop right there. Without my order, you're not allowed to go anywhere. Go back to base number 9 and wait for your punishment. Yuan Jingqi, come here. This scene made Liu Peng's hair stand on end. When did his students become Zhu Yan's people? This order was given by Zhu Yan, but Xia Zhe and the others were the founders of the Huaxia Alliance. How could Zhu Yan's words push the female Shura into the abyss? Regardless of whether it was the female Shura, the Einherjar, or Xia Zhe, he didn't believe that the female Shura would betray them. Zhu Yan must have made a mistake. Some of the older warriors frowned. There was indeed a problem. How did the female Shura become famous? She had slaughtered an entire mountain range of beasts. How could the beasts work together with the female Shura against the Huaxia Alliance? Teacher. Yuan Jingqi looked at Liu Peng and said in a low voice, Master Zhu Yan has spoken. Su Yan can't get away. He must stay and wait for Master Zhu Yan's judgment. Liu Peng's face turned pale. He pointed at Yuan Jingqi. His heart ached. The student he was so proud of had spoken to him like that. He even called him Master Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan was powerful, but what right did he have to judge Su Yan? Su Yan was the #1 genius on the Huaxia University's Hidden Dragon leaderboard. Su Yan, get your ass back here right now. Yuan Jingqi's hair danced in the wind. He stared at Su Yan and said coldly, If you dare to come any closer, I will kill you. Su Yan was enraged. His murderous aura soared to the sky. Waves after waves of dragon roars exploded in the sky and on the ground, spreading throughout the entire 9th base. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Su Yan roared. When he dove down, a dragon-shaped pillar emerged from his spine. It pierced through the sky and roared. Golden waves filled the sky. The wrath of a real dragon caused the sky to fall and the earth to sink. Chapter 3, coming soon. Chapter 80. The entire Base 9 was in an uproar. Countless residents were trembling from the bottom of their hearts. The golden ripples were rolling and roaring, as if they were going to sweep across the entire Base 9. The aura emitted by the dragon made them feel suffocated. LV Anshan took a deep breath. How did Su Yan for back then? And now he was a genius. How did he cultivate? Boom! The true dragon flew across the sky, raising its head and roaring. Su Yan was enraged. Under the loud roar, the heavens collapsed and the earth sank. Under the furious roar of the true dragon and Su Yan, the entire door made of steel cracked and finally exploded into pieces. As for Yuan Jingqi, he began to tremble under the fury of Su Yan. His body was about to explode under the roar of the true dragon. Buzz! The entire 9th base was silent. They could only see Su Yan and the giant dragon-shaped pillar crossing over into the wilderness. Bam! Yuan Jingqi was covered in blood and trembling. His eyes were full of fear. He fell to the ground, and more blood was spilled because of the cracks on his body. He was still sobbing and spitting out blood and broken bones. There was a touch of fear in his heart. The roar of the true dragon almost killed Yuan Jingqi. It was a shocking scene. All the cultivators who saw it were petrified. He was a gold student, but he was almost killed by Su Yan at the gate of Base 9. Yuan Jingqi let out a miserable roar. The big fatty was like a mountain of meat. He stepped on Yuan Jingqi's chest with his big foot, breaking Yuan Jingqi's sternum. Yuan Jingqi raised his body fiercely and spat out a mouthful of blood, then fainted. The people around were still in shock, especially the residents of Base 9. They were all dumbfounded. That was Yuan Jingqi, Liu Peng's student, a golden student of the Huaxia Academy. Many girls were infatuated with him. But now, he had almost been roared to death by Su Yan. Could it be that Su Yan had reached the peak of the Lifespring stage? Man! At this moment, a thunderous roar exploded. Lei Lao's eyes were wide open in anger, and his body was emitting lightning in all directions. He was like the god of thunder as he let out a thunderous roar. Su Yan is extremely daring. He killed a golden student of Huaxia University. His crime is unforgivable. Arrest him immediately. At this point, Lei Lao also rushed out. He wanted to catch up with Su Yan and suppress him. And at the same time Lei Lao spoke, The large number of experts following Jiang Wuhan rushed out like lightning, wanting to capture Su Yin. Let's see who dares to move. Lu Peng appeared in front of Lei Lao in a flash, his whole body emitting a bloody aura. He angrily shouted, "No one is allowed to target Su Yin before this matter is investigated thoroughly. I, Lu Peng, will never believe the words of Zhu Yin alone. I don't believe that a female Azura who slaughtered an entire mountain range of ferocious beasts would betray the Huaxia Alliance. Never." The entire ninth base was a little quiet. The female Azura was one of the top 10 experts of the Huaxia Alliance. Would she really betray them? However, they naturally believed in Zhu Yan's word a little. This showed how powerful Zhu Yan's prestige was. "Lu Peng, you are protecting the female Azura, protecting Su Yin," Lei Lao said angrily. "Didn't you see that Su Yin was in a hurry to escape? Otherwise, would he have dared to act so presumptuously at the city gate? You are still trying to stop me. You are letting the tiger return to the mountain. Once Su Yin escapes, how can you bring justice to the world? Su Yin was groomed by the Huaxia Alliance. It is only right for me to get rid of him." Lei Lao's qi had recovered to its peak. Countless lightning bolts were circulating around him. Even the power of his life, Spring, had faintly formed a blurry lightning weapon. It was as if the nine heavens' thunder was brewing there. "If you want to go, you have to go through me first. Su Yin is the top student of the Huaxia University's Hidden Dragon role. Only the dean has the right to punish him." Lu Peng replied coldly. His qi had also reached its peak. "I think you're really old and confused. How can the dean of Huaxia University be more powerful than my teacher? Is my teacher's words wrong? I think you are really out of your mind." All of a sudden, thousands of rays of golden light burst out. The burning qi was so dazzling that it was difficult to open one's eyes. It was a shadow in a golden robe. He walked over with a majestic, immemorial golden crow behind him. It was as if he was going to burn the mountain and boil the sea. Jiang Wuhan. Everyone was shocked. Zhu Yan's student, Jiang Wuhan, was a famous genius of the Huaxia Alliance. His every word and action had a deep influence in the Huaxia Alliance. However, no one had expected Jiang Wuhan to appear at this moment, and even reprimand Lu Peng. Some of the Huaxia University's teachers were unhappy. Jiang Wuhan had to appear at this moment. Many of the teachers were very disappointed in him. He couldn't shoulder the burden at this crucial moment. Instead, he appeared at this time of internal strife. This kind of person couldn't take on important responsibilities. "Jiang Wuhan, you don't even care about me, the vice dean." Lu Peng was furious. "You are a student. How can I believe Zhu Yan's words? Without evidence, you can't say that a great contributor to the Huaxia Alliance is a traitor. I don't believe it. Old man, it's not up to you. Lei Lao, go and capture Su Yin. Leave Lu Peng to me." Jiang Wuhan waved his hand. Suddenly, his qi became horrible. Golden light shone all over the sky. His palm was like an ancient golden crow. He said in a cruel voice, "You are too old. You can't do it." Lu Peng was furious. He took out a spear and rushed forward. Lu Peng, I don't want to say anything more. I'm going to catch Su Yin. When the truth comes out, I'll see how you explain it to the world." Lei Lao waved his hand and led a large number of masters to the wilderness. The wilderness was very chaotic now. The sudden start of a punitive expedition had caused a great disturbance. The nearby fierce beasts began to rush to the ninth base. The whole wilderness was full of the sound of trampling and roaring of beasts. Boom! However, when the huge dragon-shaped pillar pierced through, the various wild beasts that were charging over-trembled. It was as if they had seen a divine king descend to the mortal world. The aura that seeped out from his body made them feel great fear in their hearts. The wilderness was completely chaotic. Many masters rushed out of Huaxia City. Some were watching, some were chasing Su Yin, and some wanted to know the truth. Hurry up, hurry up! Su Yin was as swift as the wind. His speed had recovered to its strongest level. His charging speed was too ferocious. Wherever he passed, the ground he stepped on would collapse. He was very anxious. If this thing was fake, then the dean of the Ice Snow Academy must be in great danger. Maybe she had already died. Su Yin had to go out and see who the dean of the Ice Snow Academy was with his own eyes. If she had died, when could he know what he had experienced in the past 100 years? Su Yan's whole body was burning. His speed was getting faster and faster. His hair was fluttering behind his head. He was running as fast as lightning. It's Su Yan. Stop him. At this time, 5 people were rushing towards Su Yan. Their chi was very strong. Get out of my way. Su Yan looked up to the sky and roared. He was really angry. His whole body was rippling with towering light. In a flash, he swung his fist and smashed towards those people who were rushing towards him. This punch contained the anger in his body. It contained the power of destruction and directly crushed towards those people. Puff! The 5 masters coughed out blood. The horrible wind made them fly out one by one as if they had been struck by lightning. 2 of them were smashed into pieces in the air. This scene was seen by a group of people who were chasing after Su Yan. They were all sweating. Su Yan had started killing. Su Yan has gone crazy. No matter he is dead or alive, catch him immediately. Lei Lao laughed angrily. Suddenly, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the forest. He was very fast, like a silver lightning crossing the forest. However, no matter how fast he was, Su Yan's speed was not inferior to his. Su Yan. Far away, a group of powerhouses with the stench of blood was fighting. Tang Yi was here, but what they were fighting was a group of vicious beasts. There were even over a dozen peak beast kings. This scene caused Su Yan's heart to burn with anger. Fake. Everything was fake. If this was real, why would the beast besiege Tang Yi and the others? How strong? Tang Yi's pupils shrank. His entire body was covered with wounds. When he sensed Su Yan's aura, Tang Yi's face lit up with joy. He immediately said, Su Yan, run forward. Hurry up, we can't rush past you. Okay. Su Yan's speed was even more astonishing. His entire body was covered with layers of blood energy, turning into a group of golden horses. As they galloped, the sound of tens of thousands of horses rumbled and exploded. Roar! Suddenly, a beast king rushed towards Su Yan like a bolt of lightning. It raised its fierce claws, wanting to tear apart Su Yan. Boom! Su Yan suddenly raised his hand. Flames surged from his 5 fingers, and an aura that could tear apart the heavens and split the seas lingered. This was a frightening scene. This beast king, under Su Yan's palm, collapsed into a pile of flesh and blood, exploding into pieces in the forest. Quickly look, it's Senior Tang Yi. Over a dozen peak beast kings are besieging them. The expressions of the experts who followed them changed. Didn't Zhu Yin say that the female Azura was in cahoots with the beasts? How could this be the result? The beast kings were clearly blocking Tang Yi and even Su Yan. Let our people move. Zhu Yan's prestige is too high. His words are naturally more trustworthy. Quickly spread the news here. We can't let Zhu Yan easily label the female Azura as a traitor. Yu Yiling coldly ordered her subordinates and went to help Tang Yi. With the influence of the Underground Commerce Alliance, they would quickly spread the news. They couldn't let Zhu Yan's every word and action affect the Chinese alliance. It's right in front. Su Yan's primordial spirit surged. He sensed the energy fluctuations of the battle. It was already very close to him. Female Azura, you're already injured to this extent. Let's see how arrogant you can be. In the forest, dozens of miles away, there were large cracks everywhere. The battle was extremely intense. Over a dozen experts joined forces to attack, taking out all kinds of killing weapons. The furnace controlled by Tao Tianhua was the most terrifying. It was as if a furnace was burning, and as it rumbled, a blazing aura covered the sky and covered the earth. Even a vacuum was burned down, and a nearby lake was evaporated. The temperature of the furnace was too shocking. As Tao Tianhua's aura passed through the furnace became resplendent and directly smashed towards a black-clothed woman who was on the verge of collapse. This attack was extremely fierce and tyrannical, directly pressing towards the female Azura. The female Azura's figure was very beautiful, but she wore a mask on her face. No one could see her true face. Her injuries were very serious, and her aura was weak. There were corpses everywhere in the forest. At least a dozen had been killed by her. But at this moment, the female Azura was trembling all over. She was not afraid of Tao Tianhua. How could the female Azura, who had dominated the Huaxiao Alliance for decades, be afraid of Tao Tianhua? But she saw a youth with a powerful aura. He was like a fierce tiger descending the mountain, rushing towards her. Crack! Because she was absent-minded, she forgot to block. The blue mask on her face cracked, revealing a bright and beautiful face. She was wearing a long black robe. Her eyes were sparkling and bright, and her red lips were filled with blood. When she saw Su Yin, she felt that even if she died here, she would be satisfied. Digression. Originally, he wanted to write a speech, but after thinking about it, he did not know what to write. This time, the new book was released very quickly. The main reason was that the updates were too fast. It was almost 300,000 words. The book was going to be on the shelves. It was a rather serious topic. Once it was on the shelves, there would be a fee to read it. One chapter would cost 15 cents. For high-level accounts, it would only cost a few cents. Originally, he wanted to write a bit more pitiful and shamelessly ask for subscriptions. Haha, Qing Tian has to eat. Your subscriptions are my royalties. In short, if you have the ability, please support Qing Tian. Students definitely do not have much money to read. I only hope that you can spend $1 to help Qing Tian subscribe to the first few chapters. That would be the greatest support for Qing Tian. You must subscribe to Zongheng Novels on the software. Everyone can download and support the new book. Chapter 81. The experts who had joined forces to attack the female Azura were all dumbfounded by what they saw. It was rumored that the female Azura was extremely ugly. Why else would she wear a mask? But now that they saw the female Azura's face, their hearts couldn't help but beat wildly. This peerlessly beautiful woman had icy, jade-like skin and beautiful eyebrows. Her beauty was moving. Such a stunning beauty was actually the famous female Azura of the Huaxiao Alliance. They couldn't believe it. Tao Tianhua grabbed the furnace that was about to hit the female Azura. His burning eyes stared at the female Azura's face. His body trembled with excitement. It would be a pity to kill such a beautiful woman. Tao Tianhua, why aren't you attacking? Someone shouted. Zhu Yin had given a death order to get rid of the female Azura. Tao Tianhua was envious, but he had no choice but to attack. He took out the furnace and smashed it at the female Azura. I'll kill you, you bastard. Su Yan's furious voice split the sky and collapsed the clouds in all directions, causing the entire mountain forest to tremble along with Su Yan's fury. Fast. The speed of Su Yan's strike was frighteningly fast. It could even be combined with lightning and thunder. The iron rod that came smashing down with Su Yan's fury caused the furnace to be unable to withstand the weight of the black iron rod. It buzzed and trembled, breaking free from Tao Tianhua's control. Who is it? Tao Tianhua flew into a rage. When he turned his head, he saw Su Yan. His ferocious face immediately began to contort. He couldn't forget that his grandfather had been beaten up by Su Yan. Tao Jiangrong had even been detained by Su Yan in the Hall of Penal Law. All of this had something to do with Su Yan. This was a great humiliation. If Tao Tianhua hadn't been delayed by other matters, he would have come back to settle the score with Su Yan. But now, Su Yan actually dared to come here. In his fury, Tao Tianhua turned pale. How could Su Yan be so strong? What kind of good fortune did he obtain in the Tower of Trials over the past year? Boom! While Tao Tianhua was still in a daze, Su Yan rushed up with a look of excitement and ecstasy. He couldn't help but let out a series of loud laughter that shook the entire forest. Brother! The female Shura stretched out her jade-like hands and caressed Su Yan's face. She really wanted to know if it was real or not. Ha ha ha! Su Yan was still laughing. He almost cried. The female Shura was actually his younger sister, Su Bingshuang, and she looked like her younger self. The female Shura, whose name shook the entire Huaxiao Alliance, had awakened during the apocalypse of Earth. Her face still retained her youthful appearance, but there was also a touch of vicissitudes on her face. At this moment, her eyes were filled with joy as she stared at Su Yan, and tears rolled down her cheeks like pearls. It's really you. I knew that brother would be fine. He definitely will be. Su Bingshuang choked with sobs, her eyes red. She had searched for Su Yin for almost 100 years. She had searched all over the world, and all these years, she had bitterly held on by herself. Now, they were finally reunited. Su Yin, I didn't think that even you would betray us. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Tao Tianhua's mind almost exploded. The female Shura, whose beauty could conquer the world, was actually so close to Su Yin in public. One could imagine the anger in his heart. He even had the thought of killing Su Yin 100 times. Brother, be careful. Su Bingshuang's face was cold. Her injuries were too severe. Coupled with Su Yan's arrival, she was distracted and injured by the furnace. Now, it was difficult for her to move. Bingshuang, leave the rest to me. Su Yin turned his head. His essence, energy, and spirit were completely different. Facing an angry lion, he carried Su Bingshuang on his back and said with a smile, "Brother will take you and kill our way out." His feet stepped on the ground, and he leapt high into the air, avoiding the attacks of Tao Tianhua and the others. Su Yin, there is no way for you to survive in this world. You can't escape. Surrender. Tao Tianhua and the other experts let out sinister cries. They took out all kinds of killing weapons. Cold light flashed, and it was as if a blizzard was sweeping over. Boom! Su Yin was extremely calm. He swooped down in an instant and swung the black iron staff in his hand. His strength completely penetrated the staff. Under Su Yan's fury, the black rust on the black iron staff fell down layer by layer. The black iron staff suddenly became a lot more terrifying. A golden staff appeared, densely covered in resplendent runes. As Su Yan's aura penetrated through, the golden staff blazed with a monstrous brilliance. A divine weapon that could destroy all 8 desolates, and 10 earths began to awaken. Kill! The moment Su Yin roared, the golden staff smashed down. The gushing power caused the earth to sink. Countless ancient trees were crushed, and the distant mountains trembled. This furnace was sent flying by Su Yin. The people who were charging towards him from all directions were split into pieces one by one under the boundless strength of the golden iron rod, exploding in the air. Blood rained down from the sky. Su Yin was bathed in blood and went crazy. Whoever dares to block me, I will kill them. The entire ground collapsed, and large black cracks appeared. It was impossible to imagine just how abnormal the power of this strike was. He has a divine weapon, a peerless divine weapon. More than half of the experts were killed. Some of them were missing limbs, and they screamed in pain. Their eyes were filled with fear and greed. This was a peerless divine weapon, an extremely terrifying divine weapon. Once it exploded, its power would reach the heavens and the earth. Those below the 9 heavens would not be able to block a single strike, and would be turned into meat paste. Su Yin, Tao Tianhua's face was ferocious. His aura completely exploded. It was as if a sea of fire was hidden within his flesh shell. The furnace in his hands was also activated to its strongest state. Tao Tianhua had already stepped into the 9 heavens of the life spring realm. His combat strength was not to be underestimated. He was no longer someone that Tao Tianhua could compare to in the past. I will kill you, you little bastard. Tao Tianhua rushed over angrily. His divine energy completely penetrated the furnace. Although this was a low-grade divine weapon, under the power of Tao Tianhua's 9 heavens, this furnace could burn mountains and boil seas. The divine energy that covered the sky and earth surged over. It was incomparably blazing, causing the nearby experts to scream in pain. The blood and qi in their bodies were drying up. Several cultivators who were heavily injured directly died. You little bastard, you are not worthy. Su Yan's eyes narrowed. He swung the golden iron rod like lightning. It was as if he was swinging an ancient mountain, a giant pillar that reached the heavens. The mystical inscriptions on the golden iron rod were completely awakened. This rod was too terrifying. Su Yin held it and smashed it wildly at the oncoming furnace. Wave after wave of attacks. Tens of thousands of waves erupted here. Endless fury was awakened here. The entire mountain forest was trembling. Countless large cracks appeared. This is simply unbelievable. Su Yin is too terrifying. He can actually fight a great expert like Tao Tianhua. Tao Tianhua is at the 9 heavens, but Su Yin is actually not inferior to Tao Tianhua. What level is Su Yin at? Could it be that he has received the true teachings of the martial god? The experts tailing them. They were getting closer and closer. Especially Lei Lao. He was very close to the battlefield and was about to charge over. After more than 10 consecutive attacks, the furnace was dented. It was about to explode under the power of the golden iron rod. However, Su Yin almost lost his balance. He was on the verge of falling to the ground. Big brother, leave quickly. Don't worry about me. Su Bingshuang was extremely anxious. Su Yin had only cultivated for a few years. Tao Tianhua was now at the 9 heavens life springs realm. Tao Tianhua, capture Su Yin immediately. Lei Lao was also pleasantly surprised. Su Yin seemed to be at his limit. This scene made Tao Tianhua ecstatic. He laughed angrily. Su Yin, oh Su Yin, you should never have offended me. Today, I will let you die without a burial place. Wang, the furnace burned again. The mystical inscriptions within it were awakened. Tao Tianhua fully activated it and rushed at Su Yin. The flames were about to devour Su Yin and Su Bingshuang. Dong! Su Yin decisively threw out the golden iron rod. It collided with the furnace that was smashing towards him. Layers of sound waves were created as the two weapons clashed against each other. Ha ha ha! Su Yin, you've lost your weapon. Let's see how you'll die. Tao Tianhua instantly rushed forward. His face was ferocious. He raised his palm and chopped at Su Yin's head, wanting to kill him. The palm was getting closer and closer to Su Yin. The hearts of the people who followed behind trembled. Could it be that Su Yin was going to die today? Die! Tao Tianhua's palm was less than 5 inches away from Su Yin's head. At this moment, Su Bingshuang could clearly feel that Su Yin's body had changed. It was as if he had turned into an ancient star. Tao Tianhua's fist blew away Su Yin's loose hair, revealing his cold face. His eyes were so bright that they pierced through everyone's eyes. To kill Tao Tianhua, he needed time. But Su Yin didn't have that time. He had to kill Tao Tianhua. Boom! Su Yin's body awakened like lightning. Strands of terrifying aura spread out from his arm and reached his fist. At this moment, Su Yin's fist erupted with a terrifying light. As it swayed, an ancient star exploded. Wavering light fist. Su Yin roared furiously towards the sky. This punch was overbearing and shocking, and it instantly collapsed the sky. It carried a resplendent light as it hammered Tao Tianhua to the point his entire body trembled intensely. His protective, treasured body shattered into pieces, and his entire chest caved in. Tao Tianhua let out a heart-wrenching roar. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. The surrounding people were stunned. Tao Tianhua was also sent flying. Roar! Su Yin's aura was like a dragon. A dragon-shaped pillar rose from his spine. Su Yin soared into the sky and swooped forward, carrying a terrifying aura that could destroy the world. Su Yin, stay your hand. Elder Lei let out a hysterical roar. If you kill him, you won't be able to survive no matter where you go. You better think carefully. Roar! Roar! The true dragon's fury was unstoppable. It swooped down and swallowed Tao Tianhua. Su Yin's fist, which could be called an ancient star, hammered down on Tao Tianhua's head. No! Tao Tianhua let out a terrifying cry. There was no way out. He was surrounded by the dragon-shaped pillar and couldn't move. He wanted to kneel on the ground and beg Su Yin to let him live. Su Yin, let's talk things out. Don't be rash. Lei Lao was furious. His eyes were about to split open. He was getting closer and closer to Su Yin. He was about to close in and intercept Su Yin. I'll kill Tao Tianhua. Even the gods can't hold him back. I said it. Su Yin roared. His fist was iron-blooded and overbearing. His fury surged. Chapter 82. Silence. The messy forest was completely silent. Those who had rushed here were all fighting fiercely. Tao Tianhua, the pride of his generation, had been blasted into a bloody mist by Su Yin. Su Yin had smashed him alive in the forest. This bloody scene caused everyone who came to tremble from the bottom of their hearts. Even old Lei felt as if his liver and gallbladder were about to burst. Su Yin actually had such courage. He actually dared to kill Tao Tianhua. Did he not know how serious the consequences of doing so would be? Tao Tianhua was a great expert at the 9th level of the Life Spring realm and a second-grade alchemist. Now that he had died in the wilderness, who knew what kind of shock it would cause if word got out? This is heaven-defying. They all gasped. Even now, they could not believe what they were seeing. How long had it been since Su Yin joined the school? But he actually had the ability to kill a 9th level Life Spring realm expert. This was too frightening. Su Yin, you deserve to die. You deserve to die. Lei Lao was furious. Lightning flashed all over his body as he charged at Su Yin. He raised his hand and pressed down on him. The golden iron rod appeared in Su Yin's palm. Just as Su Yin was about to swing the golden iron rod to block the attack, a resplendent and sparkling mace came smashing over, directly smashing the lightning beam that had erupted from Elder Lei's palm. Fatty! Su Yin's expression changed. He shouted, "Hurry up and leave. This has nothing to do with you." After killing Tao Tianhua, there was no way to resolve this matter peacefully. In addition, the matter of his sister was too serious. He did not want to implicate others. Now, Su Yin only had one thought, and that was to leave this place. Su Yin, hurry up and leave. I'll cover you. Fatty's entire body exploded with divine light. His murderous aura surged. The stone mace in his hand suddenly exploded with thousands of rays of light, blocking in front of Lei Lao. This was also a divine weapon, an extremely powerful one. It was not inferior to Su Yan's golden rod. All of you want to rebel, rebel. Lei Lao's eyes widened in anger as he took out a lightning hammer. His hair curled up in anger. He was furious because even a student dared to block his path. Lei Lao wouldn't dare to kill me. At most, he would injure me. Hurry up and leave this place. Hurry up and leave. The fat man roared and stared at Lei Lao. Old bastard, I've been annoyed with you for a long time. I want to challenge you now. Let this fat brother teach you how to behave. Boom! The fatty's aura grew infinitely stronger. When his awakened bloodline was awakened to the extreme, the fatty's body suddenly changed. It was as if a huge mountain of flesh was born here. He was so majestic that he could be called a little giant. The fatty's aura surged and reached the peak of the Life Spring realm. His bloodline was extremely strong. The bloodline that was awakened at the beginning of the second great change on Earth had strengthened Fatty's natal mystique. The surrounding people were stunned. Su Yin was one thing, but Huaxia University had produced another Life Spring realm expert. Could it be that the peak of the Life Spring realm was nothing in the future? Had a new era begun? Go, Su Yin. It's already like this. If you treat me as a brother, then hurry up and leave. Don't come back. The fatty roared angrily. He couldn't block Lei Lao for long. Lei Lao was already close to the armament building realm. With his strength, he could at most hold him back for a while. However, the fatty felt that it was enough to give Su Yin enough time to escape. Take care, my good brother. Su Yin's eyes were red. When he sensed that there were more and more experts rushing over from all directions, Su Yin clenched his teeth and turned around in an instant, running into the depths of the wilderness. Chase after him. Capture Su Yin. Kill him. Lei Lao was furious. Tao Tianhua had died. This was too big a matter. Moreover, he had been killed by Su Yin. Once this matter spread out, the entire Huaxia alliance would be in an uproar. After all, Tao Tianhua was different. He was also a grade 2 alchemist. And you, I'll kill you. Lei Lao's aura was extremely strong. The thunder hammer in his hand spewed out lightning. In an instant, it was struck by him, causing the power of the mace to explode. Someone come, someone come. The vice principal killed someone. The vice principal killed someone. Ah, my arm, my leg. The vice principal is jealous that I surpassed Tung Ingjia and wants to cripple me. Come take a look. The fatty was like a loudspeaker as he screamed like a pig. His hands were not idle. He used all his strength to bring out the mace in order to block Lei Lao. After all, among the experts chasing after Su Yin, only Lei Lao could threaten Su Yin. "Shut up, you bastard!" Lei Lao almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This troublemaker, no matter what, the fatty was still at the peak of the life spring realm. Once he died, Lei Lao would not be able to absolve himself from the blame. Now, the wilderness was in chaos. Countless pieces of news had exploded, shocking the entire Huaxiao alliance. This matter was too shocking. Tao Tianhua had been killed in the wilderness. This was enough to shock the entire Huaxiao alliance. Su Yin actually killed Tao Tianhua. Oh my god, how did he cultivate? The number one person in the 9th base killed Tao Tianhua. 2 years ago, Tao Tianhua was always targeting Su Yin. Now, Su Yin actually killed Tao Tianhua. Base 9 continued to tremble, and the survivors gasped. But what made them nervous was the fact that too many elites were charging into the wastelands. Countless youths were charging into the wastelands as if they had gone mad. Even Liu Peng had been suppressed by Jiang Wuhan. Jiang Wuhan had charged out in a fit of rage. Tao Tianhua was his right-hand man. The entire Huaxiao alliance was in chaos. News was everywhere. The Underground Business Alliance was in full operation. The news of Tang, Yi, and the others being attacked by wild beasts spread. For a moment, some people doubted Zhu Yan's judgment. After all, the female Shura had once slaughtered an entire mountain range of wild beasts. No matter what, the Huaxiao alliance was now leaderless. Xia Zhe and the others were in seclusion, and Zhu Yan's whereabouts were unknown. Su Yin ran for a few hundred miles, gradually shaking off some people. What made his expression ugly was that there were many wild beasts roaming around. If it were not for the suppression of his constitution, who knew how many disasters he would have encountered along the way? These wild beasts seemed to have received orders. Could it be that Dao Zhu Yin and the Demon King have joined forces? If that's the case, this is a disaster for the Huaxiao alliance. Who would believe it? Bing Xuan, what's going on with Zhu Yin? Also, what's the situation with Emperor Qin's tomb? Su Yan's heart was beating very fast. He could only run with all his might. Su Bingshuang did not respond to him. Su Yin hugged Su Bingshuang in his arms at lightning speed and realized that she had fallen asleep. Sleep. If you're tired, then sleep. Leave the rest to me. I'll bring you out of here. The killing intent in Su Yan's eyes dissipated. It was replaced with doting. Seeing Su Bingshuang drooling in her sleep, he understood that Su Bingshuang must have been very tired after all these years. Otherwise, she would not have fallen asleep at this time. Su Yan's primordial spirit burst out with De Li and moved Su Bingshuang into the phoenix hairpin. After doing all this, Su Yin relaxed a lot. As long as Su Bingshuang was fine, he could do whatever he wanted. Want to kill me? Come, let's see who dies first. Even if the whole world is my enemy, don't even think about touching a single strand of my sister's hair. Su Yin turned his head and stared coldly at the group of people chasing after him. Su Yin could vaguely feel that there were people helping him. He felt that they were from the Underground Commerce Alliance. He did not know if Tang, Yi, and the rest had escaped from the wild beast's encirclement. Boom! Suddenly, a fierce aura rushed towards him. A beast king that was hiding in the dark jumped out and slashed at Su Yin with its huge claws. Courting death. A terrifying and ominous glint exploded from Su Yan's eyes. The golden rod in his hand smashed forward in an instant. That terrifying strength was extremely violent, smashing the Beast King into pieces. With the help of the golden rod, Su Yin was like a tiger that had grown wings. If only my cultivation level was higher, I would be able to use the terrain to my advantage. Unfortunately, I can't do that now. Su Yin ran forward. He did not know where to go, but he knew that the only place to hide was in the wilderness. Su Yin held a piece of source stone in his hand. He constantly absorbed the source stone's energy to replenish his body's energy. This bastard, his speed is too fast. It's hard for us to catch up. Only someone as strong as Lei Lao can catch up to him. Jiang Wuhan has already killed his way out, but he's too far away. Damn, are we going to let him escape just like that? There were too many experts chasing after Su Yin, but they were gradually losing sight of their target. This made them furious. Who would have thought that Su Yin had the ability to kill his way out and take the female Azura away? At this moment, the experts chasing after Su Yin faintly felt a wave of destructive energy. In a mountain forest 30 miles to the east, a divine furnace seemed to rise. It burned fiercely, and the aura of a demonic king erupted. This was a colossus slowly awakening. It was terrifying to the point where the world trembled. They could feel the destructive aura from dozens of miles away. Without a doubt, this was a demonic king powerhouse. Boom! Layers of earth collapsed, and red light surged in all directions. It was like an ancient mountain had suddenly risen, blocking Su Yan's path. This was a vicious beast. The blood essence in its body was as deep as the sea, and its demonic aura pierced through the heavens. An extremely terrifying existence, a powerhouse on the level of Yi Yuan, stood in front of Su Yan. Its massive body was coiled together, and its giant head roared as it stared at Su Yan with a sinister gaze. Su Yan's heartbeat sped up several times. Today I, Su Yan, will die in the mouth of a beast. He clenched his fists, and his hair wildly danced in the wind. What a pitiful worm. Give me your life. This was a flood dragon, an extremely terrifying flood dragon. The strength it had awakened caused Su Yan's body to show signs of cracking. One could imagine how powerful this flood dragon was. This was a vicious beast that could run rampant on Earth. Roar! The flood dragon let out a sky-splitting roar. It opened its huge mouth and spat out its snake tongue. There was no doubt that this mouth could swallow a mountain and thousands of lives. Su Yan's ears buzzed, and he almost couldn't hear anything. The flood dragon's mouth was like a furnace. It swallowed Su Yan in an instant, wanted to swallow him whole. Su Yan's spirit was burning, and his eyes were about to split open. His entire body erupted with the strongest strength, but it was useless. It was completely useless. The demonic king's strength was too astonishing. He found it difficult to move. I can't die like this. I need strength. Who can give me strength? Su Yin roared angrily, and his eyes were filled with unwillingness. Once he died, his sister would also become the flood dragon's food. His blood vessels swelled, and his hair stood on end. When Su Yan's entire body was burning to the extreme, he felt a kind of strength, a strength that could shatter the heavens. Su Yan's entire arm burned with a monstrous golden light. The engraved dragon totem began to rotate in an instant, and an invincible fluctuation similar to that of a supreme divine beast flowed out. Go to hell! Su Yan let out a violent roar. At the critical moment of life and death, he felt the power of the dragon totem and used it with all his might. His entire arm could be said to be a living true dragon. The aura that flowed out pierced through the void, and it was terrifying to the extreme. Chapter 83. A true dragon soared into the sky, looking down on the heavens. Su Yan's entire arm was emanating an unimaginable energy fluctuation. The compression caused the void to distort as it emitted a supreme divine might that made even Fey monarchs tremble in fear. No, impossible. Impossible. The flood dragon's massive body began to tremble as its eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. This was a true dragon, a true dragon. Flood Dragon King's ultimate goal was to evolve into a true dragon, but it was impossible. The difficulty was too great. It was an awakening path that left him in despair. A true dragon was his destined ruler. Just the suppression of a true dragon's bloodline was enough to make Flood Dragon King tremble. He wished he could immolate himself and die rather than face a true dragon. Furthermore, the wrath of a true dragon left Flood Dragon King trembling. It was a form of absolute suppression. He could not imagine how a human could produce the strength of a true dragon. He even felt that Su Yan was a true dragon. How could something so ridiculous happen? Boom! Su Yan's punch had awakened the power of the dragon totem. It was so terrifying that it left people trembling in fear. A monstrous golden glow erupted and instantly tore through the void. The true dragon fist winds that emanated caused Flood Dragon King's mouth to collapse. No. Ah. Flood Dragon King let out a tragic and horrified cry. He could not survive as the true dragon's strength penetrated his entire body and through his tail. His entire body was riddled with holes as his soul dissipated from the shock. Die! Su Yin lifted Flood Dragon King in his berserk state. He extended his arms and tore Flood Dragon King's massive body into two. Blood rained down from the sky as a ferocious aura surged. Such ferocious might made him seem like an invincible god. It left the oncoming experts trembling in fear. Su Yin had torn Flood Dragon King apart. He had gone berserk after bathing in the Flood Dragon's blood essence. His entire body was stained with a layer of blood that contained a scorching and vast amount of blood essence. It made Su Yin's body show signs of exploding. This was Flood Dragon King's blood essence. The energy it contained was terrifying. Su Yin let out a painful roar as his body was about to shatter. Kill! This was the Flood Dragon King. Its body was priceless, and so was its flesh and blood. Once they obtained the Flood Dragon King's corpse, they would definitely soar into the sky. Su Yan's appearance made him wild with joy. This was the perfect opportunity to kill him. At least 100 cultivators rushed over from all directions, fiercely brandishing their killing swords. Their ferocious eyes stared at Su Yin, who was lying in a pool of blood, and their greedy eyes stared at the corpse of the Jiao Dragon King. This was a great opportunity. Su Yin, you could die now. Over 100 experts leaped forward. Just as these people were about to touch Su Yin suddenly stood up. Although his entire body was covered in blood, his entire body erupted with an extremely violent aura. This was a terrifying, ferocious aura that erupted along with the Flood Dragon King's ferocious aura. Not good, run. The expressions of the people rushing towards Su Yin changed drastically. Just as they were about to escape, they realized that Su Yan's aura was gushing out uncontrollably. Since you want to kill me, all of you can die. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His blood-stained palm instantly lifted the massive corpse of the Flood Dragon King and danced in the air. Su Yin was like a divine whip as he smashed it into the crowd. I'll send you on your way. Su Yin roared at the sky. Killing intent gushed out from his body as he attacked ferociously. Wave after wave of heaven-shattering force swept through all the cultivators present. At that moment, blood dyed the sky. A large number of experts could not withstand the force and were smashed into pieces as they were sent flying. Kill! Su Yin seemed to have gone mad as he constantly swung the Flood Dragon King's body and smashed it in all directions. Su Yin had no choice but to vent the surging blood in his body. After all, the Flood Dragon King's blood essence was too astonishing. If not for the dragon totem absorbing a portion of it, Su Yin would not have been able to get up in a short period of time. His heart was filled with shock. The dragon totem could actually be used for an outburst. It was like a divine ability that killed the Flood Dragon King in an instant. This was somewhat terrifying. However, Su Yin discovered a serious problem. The dragon totem had become much weaker. This made him frown. He was afraid that it would be impossible for him to unleash the power that he had just used. The dragon totem might require a sufficient amount of energy. Su Yan's body became more and more resplendent. He circulated the Inception Sutra to refine the Flood Dragon King's blood essence. The strength contained in his body began to increase. The divine power contained in the Flood Dragon King's blood essence was too exuberant. It even penetrated his life spring. Su Yan's life spring was becoming stronger and stronger. This made him pleasantly surprised. He circulated the Inception Sutra to the extreme and absorbed the Flood Dragon King's blood essence that had scattered on the ground. With Su Yan's explosive methods, it was very difficult to absorb and refine it in one go. However, the dragon totem was also absorbing it. This way, Su Yan could boldly absorb it without worry. With every breath, Su Yan's aura surged a little, and his life spring grew a little stronger. His strength climbed steadily. He felt that facing the Tao Tianhua now would not be so strenuous. Corpses were strewn all around. The experts that came to kill him were all killed by Su Yan. As for the experts that came from all directions, after seeing Su Yan's tyrannical appearance, after bathing in the Flood Dragon King's blood, they did not dare to approach him. Evil creature, hand over your life. Suddenly, wave after wave, an aura that could burn mountains and boil seas burst out explosively. At the end of the horizon, a primordial golden crow suddenly spread its wings and soared over horizontally. Everywhere it passed, it turned into scorched earth, and countless ancient trees were turned into ashes. Jiang Wuhan. Su Yan's expression changed. Jiang Wuhan had come to kill him. His aura was too astonishing. Jiang Wuhan was a great expert that was about to step into the weapon-building realm. Now, he had directly erupted with an extremely powerful battle strength. The fluctuations released by the immemorial Golden Crow made Su Yan feel as if he had fallen into a sea of flames. He quickly stored the Flood Dragon King's corpse into the Phoenix hairpin and used all his strength to summon the Golden Iron Staff to wildly smash the immemorial Golden Crow. However, even with the power of the divine weapon, Su Yan was still sent flying by the immemorial Golden Crow. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood, and his aura began to weaken. Su Yan, you're still running. Let's see where you can run to. Jiang Wuhan's cold voice exploded. He wore a golden robe and appeared in front of Su Yan in a single step. He raised his hand and grabbed at Su Yan's shoulder. He felt that Su Yan had a treasure on him. The Flood Dragon King's corpse had been taken away, just like that. The spatial treasure on his body must be extremely astonishing. A fatal threat was approaching. However, Su Yan's mind was extremely clear. Jiang Wuhan was getting closer and closer to him. Where Su Yan was, more than a dozen oars tumbled down. The moment the array marks on the stone body lit up, the oars began to burn, spewing out the power of array marks that intertwined together in the air. It was also at this moment that the area began to shake and tremble, as if an earth dragon had emerged from the sea. Boom! The moment the earth shook, Su Yan transformed into an array body and an array core. Countless earth vein energies penetrated his body, causing Su Yan's aura to become even more terrifying. Extremely turbulent body, array, energy emanated from him. The surrounding people were petrified. Su Yan's body was too domineering. After he borrowed the power of the earth, his battle strength had soared by a large margin. His entire body was filled with surging blood and chi. When they combined, they converged into a blurry golden star. Wavering light fist. Su Yan reared his head back and roared. This fist was tyrannical and unparalleled. As it smashed out, it could be said that several true dragons were awakening. It was the most domineering, most unyielding, most yang, dong. When the fist and palm collided, Jiang Wuhan's entire arm was shaken to the point of spurting blood. Even his bones began to break. He was sent flying backwards by Su Yan's fist. Hiss! The surrounding people were stunned. Jiang Wuhan had actually been sent flying by Su Yan's fist. Jiang Wuhan's face was so fierce that it almost twisted. He had not lost to Su Yan, but to Su Yan's mortal body. If it weren't for the fact that he had tempered his body with the sun's true fire every day, Su Yan's fist would have been enough to blow half his body apart. You actually injured me. You actually injured me. Jiang Wuhan was enraged. His hair was disheveled, and his essence energy erupted. He swooped down, and the ancient golden crow also began to awaken. Idiot, I won't accompany you to the end. Wait for me to recover, then I'll come back and take your head. Su Yan suddenly retreated. After he left, the entire area began to rumble. Countless terrains erupted, turning into a killing formation that blocked Jiang Wuhan's aura. The killing formation even turned into a killing array, sealing Jiang Wuhan inside. Bastard! Jiang Wuhan roared in grief and indignation. But no matter how strong he was, it was difficult for him to break through the terrains in a short period of time. Taking advantage of the moment when everyone was stunned, Su Yan climbed over a mountain and continued to madly rush towards the depths of the base. He was already 1,000 miles away from the ninth base. Not only was his aura not weak, but it was also much stronger. The flood dragon's blood had almost been completely refined by him. Where should I go? Su Yin thought to himself. There were still pursuers behind him. He had to get rid of them as soon as possible. Otherwise, Lei Lao and Jiang Wuhin would quickly catch up. As Su Yin was thinking, he faintly discovered that the earth around him was faintly trembling. What's going on? Su Yan's complexion changed. Moreover, the trembling speed increased. This was the earth's crust shaking, as if something was about to drill out. He looked all around, observing the momentum of the world. With the occult sect's special ability, he searched for dragons and explored veins. Su Yan's complexion was extremely abnormal. He discovered that in all directions, there were a total of 9 giant mountains that surrounded this area. The 9 huge mountains were like 9 divine dragons that were about to rise from the clouds. What a terrifying terrain. Moreover, these 9 mountains are surrounded by dragon energy. The dragon veins should be in these 9 mountains. If I can grasp the terrain of these 9 mountains, I fear I can even lock down the heavens. Su Yin breathed heavily. The more he looked, the more alarmed he became. This layout was too grand. The 9 mountains even began to faintly shake, as if they were about to awaken and release a terrifying divine might. 6th update.